Okay. Yeah, it's Friday evening, early Saturday midnight in some places in Nigeria. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, very, very eventful week. A lot of stuff happened, and it was just crazy. Now we're here right now, and it's just want to go through the events. There were a lot of things that happened this week that I couldn't cover, and I'm just gonna take it very slow. Okay, I'm gonna take it very slow tonight. I'll react to the I'll react to the reactions. I mean, well, that's quite a way to put it. I'll react to the reactions that that has been coming out today since the Niger State students were kidnapped. They were kidnapped in a private Catholic school, which is quite painful. One of the things that the politicians know how to do, and mostly everybody in Nigeria, they know how to throw blames here and there. So the government is blaming the schools and all of that. So this guy, before I go on, has been making some observation and some statement with respect to what has been happening, the kidnapping and all of that, the U.S. intervention, or I would say U.S. trying to wade into the matter, calling out Nigeria and all that. He believes that the U.S. is just trying to devour the country and is bringing this again. So there's a movie on Netflix that has actually been around. From the comments, I noticed that the movie has been around. So there's a new movie on Netflix, and Netflix knows how to trend. They know how to flow with the trend. One minute they are celebrating love, the next they fight for their lives. The Herd is now playing on Netflix. So that's the whole thing. Look at it here. Okay, I don't want to say that. I don't want to do the. Okay. So you have this. Oh, sorry about that noise. What is this? Okay, so I need to close this. Sorry. So this movie is called The Herd. Is now showing. Sorry about that noise. Is now showing on Netflix.
Jesus Christ! Reverse! Reverse! Oh my God! There's cars behind you. Oh my God! Hey, get down! Get down! Get down! Let's run. What do we? Okay. We need to run.
Yeah. So, according to David Udein, it's an incredible timing by an American platform. This guy needs to help himself, and I'm serious. He needs to really help himself. Now, look at this. On this one, I agree. Daniel made a movie that went to the cinema. Movie has been in the cinema for quite some time. He sold the movie to Netflix, okay, which is long been in the works. It is not an ulterior motive. Daniel had said weeks ago that the movie was moving to Netflix. It's like the other movie, Finding Messiah, closely related storyline, scheduled for a December release, largely cover what is going on now, or even King of Boys 3, going to the cinema in December as well. Doctor, leave these people, everything, the CIA to David Udein. How naive can you be? Who instructed him on when to release the movie? Watch the movie ARGO. It might help you understand the lengths they can go to. Again, I mean, maybe a little conspiracy at times could help. But when everything, like this guy spent all of his life, and I'm talking about this guy, David, all of his life on America is going to come kill us all one day. Okay? This is part of the expert of the movie. I wouldn't want to show a lot here, but again, only 2 police officers combating with kidnappers in the Earth film, while the rest are in metropolitan cities guarding politicians. Sad reality of Nigeria. People are calling me Imha. Oga, be informed. Daniel Etty made this movie and released it some times ago. It's been at the cinema and has grossed over $1 billion. It just got to Netflix. Sometimes they calm down. Literally preparing you for what's coming like clockwork. The movie had been in the cinema a while back. Netflix recently just got the right. Rest, brother. David, it's actually difficult for an average person to make this connection. You have to be you have to have used badly or have felt the pain of Western manipulation to understand the way they operate. Low, if you see Netflix do a movie like this, just know the game is afoot. Check all the movies type across various industries and check the social political climate of said country. The answer will be mocking you in the face. Netflix is one huge propaganda factory. So again, I'm saying that he believes that Netflix is working with the CIA, and then the CIA is also working with all these jihadists, okay, all these terrorists in Nigeria. They're funding them, either directly or indirectly. And again, I wouldn't say, one way or the other, there is no truth to some truth, right? But when you spend all your life dwelling into these fringe and deep holes of conspiracy, you need to be really, 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 really be, aware. And it's not as if there's no evil in the world. I'm just saying. But it is what it is. So again, okay, they heard. Maybe I'll try to watch it, and then we'll see what happens after that. We'll see what happens after that. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, we saw what happened, early Friday morning. Now, there's a video here 8 years ago that I want to play. 8 years ago, survivor of Chibok girls kidnapping narrates horrific ordeal. Let me see if I can start with that.
Hello, my name is Joy Bishara and I am from Nigeria. On April 14, 2014, the Boko Haram terrorists came into my hometown, Chibok, at night while everyone was asleep. They were shooting guns while coming to our town. I was sleeping and haven't heard of it. My friend waked me up and said, "Joy, can't you hear what is going on?" I said, "No," and I went back to sleep. She said, "Get up, we cannot go to sleep. Something is wrong. The Boko Haram people are here." And she said, "Listen." And I listened to the voices and I can hear them shouting and shooting guns outside. I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "The Boko Haram terrorists are here." And we were all freaked out. We got up and we were praying for our families because I didn't grow up there, even though I was born there. So I just hear like stories that whenever they visit families, they kill like the men and then kidnap the women, or kill the men and then leave. So I was praying. We were all praying for our families to get to a safe place because they were all around the town. And while we were deciding on what to do, we were all like, some of us said we should just run out, and some of us said we should climb the walls and get out. But some of us said we are not allowed to leave the school, so we should just stay. We were still deciding on what to do. And
for context, this was the first major school kidnapping in Nigeria back in 2014. You had President Goodluck Jonathan, who was in charge then. There's a popular meme where people hear, you say, "There is God," oh. That was where, that was the first lady that made that statement when all this thing just happened. Then it was still fresh. Like, we were just entering into that heat of terrorism in Nigeria as of 2014.
Man just came in. We all were scared, so we started to kind of run, and he's like, "No, you shouldn't run. I'm just here to protect all of you, so there is nothing wrong. I'm here to protect you from what is going on outside." We trusted him because the soldiers outside our gates used to come in whenever we scream or are scared, and then they make sure we go to bed. They take care of us before they go away. So we trusted him. We thought he was one of them. And he said we should all come in a circle. All of us were in a circle. And then he said, "Okay." Then a lot of them started coming into our school, into the dorm where we were all sleeping. They all came in because we were all in a circle and we have no chance to run. So when they started coming in a lot, that's when I realized, oh no, these are not the soldiers. Not all of them have uniforms, so they're not the soldiers. And it was too late to run because they were all around us with guns and bombs, so we cannot run. And so they said that they're here, they're the Boko Haram people we have been hearing about, and they're the ones who kill, who burn churches. So they're just telling us what they do, and they say if we do not cooperate, same thing is going to happen to us. And we were all scared, crying. Some of us are like praying, and they said we have to tell them where the engine of making block is, like engine making machine. So block making machine, that was what they asked us, but we don't know where it is. So we told them we do not know. They thought we were lying, and they asked two girls to stand up among us so they thought the two girls will tell them the truth because we were in a group. They thought we were lying to them, but the two girls, they repeat what we said. They said they didn't know where it is, and no one knows. So they're like, okay, if the government sent things to the school, then where does it go? And all we know was the food for the girls, which is the kitchen store. And two girls took them there. They opened the store and started getting the foods out to take with them. They're putting it in their own trucks, and when some of them are still with us in the dorms, and they asked us to start to follow them. We were coming out with them, and the schools were burning, we're all on fire, and the fires were like almost touching us. So we were helping each other pass through it. And when we went to the gate, they asked us to sit down, and we all sat down. They burned the schools. We couldn't see any teachers because they do not have mercy. They don't have mercy on anyone. So all the teachers ran away. There is no teachers in the school, and the gate man wasn't there either. And the soldiers that were outside the gate were not there too. So they have strong weapons that even the soldiers doesn't. So they cannot stand to fight them. They all ran away as well. So, and while we were sitting in front of the gate, they were burning the school, the offices. They burned every single building in the school. And then they came to us, and one of the leaders said they should go and get trucks. And my own thought was like, okay, since they don't kill women, then they're going to let us go if they're done doing whatever they're doing. So, and then they asked us to start going out. We all walked out, and they're showing our direction for us to go to. And I'm like, okay, are they not letting us go? In my heart, I was like, okay, they're taking us away since they're pointing a direction for us to follow. And all of us went with them. They asked us to sit under a tree, and some of them said we should kneel down. Some of them said, no, it's okay, we should just sit down. And the rest went and brought like 3 trucks, huge trucks that we all, like they said, we should say our last prayer. They're going to kill us all. So some of us are crying. We were praying, and I have my friend beside me, who waked me up. We were together all that while, and she's like, let's just pray that they change their mind, because I do not want to die. I want to go continue my studying. And in that hostel, in our dorms, they told us never to go to school again. And because they said never to go to school again, my own thought was, okay, they're going to let us go then still, since they don't want us to go back to school. But it wasn't like that. They were taking us away. We helped each other in order to climb the truck. There was a small-sized women car that we have to climb in order to enter the truck, because it was really tall and huge.
This is 2014. 2014. Imagine a country going through all of those problems at the time, up until now, and it's gotten worse. So they were kidnapped, overnight. Just like the same thing that happened today in Niger State, the private Catholic school, where they just got into as we speak today, there are some of these girls that we've not seen, that have not been released. Some of them possibly married as sex slave and the likes. Let me just continue listening to the story. It's quite pathetic.
So we helped each other. They said, if you want to die, you go to the left, and if you want to leave, you go into the truck. So no one wants to die. Everyone was trying to go into the truck, and all of us climbed the trucks. The truck started moving, and while I was in that car, I was like, is this the end of all my struggling, like studying in school, dreaming of becoming a doctor? Is this where it is going to end? My hopes were like, I gave up. I'm like, okay, if this is what God wants, then it's okay. But then at the end, in that same truck, I was like, I prayed and asked God to please save me and to please let me see my families again. I do not want to go with those people. And to my surprise, something got into me and said, you should jump out. I'm like, I looked down at the truck was still moving. I looked down and it was, the truck is, when you look down, it's scary because the trucks move and the truck is still tall. So I'm like, no way, I'm not gonna make it. So at the end,
we call the truck back in the Southwest, we call them lorries, right? Lorries. So you have like the bigger head, and then you have at times you have this wooden attachment to the truck. So it's not like this wheeler, it's in wheeler, they would be like all this kind of medium-sized truck. So yeah, even though it's not as long and big as all this major truck, but it's still kind of big, right? It's still kind of tall. And you don't want to jump when that kind of a truck is moving, especially in the dark, because they were kidnapped at night.
Said, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm going to make it or not, I'm going to jump up. If I die here, it's better for my family to find my corpse and then go with those people and didn't know what they're going to do with me. So I'm like, I'm going to jump out no matter what. So I convinced my friend, because she wasn't going to do it. She knows if they see her, they're going to shoot us. So she's like, they're going to kill us. I'm not going to risk it. I'm like, It's okay, let's do it. It's fine. We better die than go with them. So she's like, okay, sure. And we jumped out, but we ran. When I jumped out, I fell with my stomach. So I got up and started running to the bush. When she saw that, okay, I was okay, so she jumped out as well. And then, but we ran through different directions. We didn't got home together. While I was running in the bush, I met two of my classmates who also jumped out. I screamed because I thought they were the Boko Haram people who came to get me back.
Hi, Kelsey.
So we continued running together. From there, while we were running for hours and hours, we didn't sleep, and a motorcycle man was passing by, and we asked him to please take us home. He said he's not going to take us home without knowing who we are. So we said, okay. We didn't trust, from that time on, we didn't trust anyone. We didn't want to tell him who we are because we are scared. We didn't trust him. So I'm like, no, we shouldn't tell him who we are. Some of us said we have to tell him in order for him to help us. We need help. We cannot continue running like this. Our feet are all bloody because the bush was a thorny bush. So it scratched our skin and everything. And they're like, we have to get help. So we gave up at the end. We told him who we are. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? So he took us back to Chibok. And while we went back to Chibok, parents from the schools went to the school and looked. There are no students, and everyone is crying. Where are the students? When they saw us, they gathered around. Where are the rest of the girls? We're like, we jumped out of the truck. We don't know. Some of them jump out as well. So I don't know if your kids are in it, if your daughter is in it, but we don't know. So they might get back. So be patient, and we just comfort them. Everyone is crying. While I went home, my mom was as well crying, like I'm dead. So my neighbors were there for her, comforting her and everything. And two congresswomen.
The problem is that there's still some parents then that still haven't seen their kids up until today. I just wonder how they've been able to make it, through life. It's quite crazy. It's quite crazy.
from the United States, Congress Wilson and Joyce, they went to Nigeria to hear the story from us because they have been hearing like a little bit of the story. They don't know the complete story. So they went to Nigeria to hear from the students who escaped. And that was how she looked for a scholarship here for us to continue our studies. And I didn't want it to continue studying because of what they said at that time. But
the trauma.
When I was accepted in Grundy, Virginia, I'm like, okay, I want to become a doctor, save lives. Then if I do not go to school, that is not going to be possible. So I have to go to school. I'm thinking and making that decision while I'm still thinking at the voice that says, do not go to school, or else wherever you go, do not think you're safe. We're going to get you. So that voice is still there, and I'm still deciding. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to go to school no matter what. So I'm not giving up my dreams. I'm going. And that was how I made the decision of coming here to continue my study.
Wow.
My own prayers and hope is like for schools to be protected and for students not to go through what I went through, because it wasn't a good experience, and no student will want to go. I will never want to repeat that horrible experience. So I do not want any student to go through that same experience. And
that's crazy. I mean, I don't even know. Like for those in Niger states that were kidnapped today, over 100 students. And for the past few days also, we had some Muslim students. Now, the one that happened today was a private Catholic school. The one that happened, I think, 2 days ago was a Muslim school. So they had mostly Muslim students that were kidnapped and all that. It's just crazy. I just thank God for her. This was 2014. 2014. So she moved over to the United States of America. And I think she's doing very well. She's doing very well.
The way that will happen is if schools are protected. So my own advice is the government need to protect schools for students to go and study their careers and go out and just change the world, be involved. Without education, then we'll not even all be here. Like, everyone has a good position because of an education. So why preventing other children of their own right? Like, it's the right of every child to go to school. That's what I believe. So if schools are protected, if the government protects its people, and the students are being protected and feel safe to study, then they will study their career and go out and be. If the schools are not protected, then many generations will not be educated, which will not be good, because no one will get a good position and no one will be a leader.
I mean, it's quite interesting how these people are against Western education, but they buy guns, they buy ammunitions that is made by the Western people and by technology. Their bomb is majorly made by technology. The motorcycles that they used to go attack villages and all that is by Western education. It's just a wrapped up, deplorable mentality. You know, it's just
because of education. Some of us got to be presidents, ambassadors, chairmen, and we just have good positions. Then why is it that we cannot protect other students to study?
That's a good question,
Another day we will not all be here. Then the young generations need to be in that same position in order to make the nations, to make the countries move on. So if we are not protected to study in a safe place, and then we are being attacked, killed, and by people who do not believe in education, then all that dreams and hope and the dreams and hope of children studying and becoming something in the future to help the nations, then it will not be possible. So I advise that schools should be protected, and thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, you can see her almost breaking down in tears there. It's quite crazy. So she moved to the United States. I guess after that incident with the Chibok, now she was lucky. She jumped and escaped. A lot of people were not that lucky. Some of them sold out as sex slaves. Some of them lives destroyed, family ruined because of that. I just checked. That's Joy Bishara. I just checked her name. Look at. I think she's doing well right now in the United States. I think this is her. This is her profile, which is quite good. You know, just to show what's happening. Like, got married. You know, have children. Just what difference does that make? You know, moving from one society to another. You know, it's just what it is. Yeah, something has to be done. It's quite important that something is done, and that's it. That's it. Of course, the politicians would do what they know how to do best, which is what. This is another one. I escaped Boko Haram. I think she's
Sa is a pseudonym. It's not her real name, and she's also wearing Sa, including Sa.
This is another person, not the same person. Nigerian girls who was kidnapped with 270. Okay, let me see. UN Watch. Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, this is a different person.
Thank you for inviting me here to share my story. The Boko Haram issues in Nigeria, especially in Borno State, was still continuous, so I would like to share my story. On 14 April 2014, around 11:34 p.m., the Boko Haram people attacked our school, and it was night time. We were all sleeping when they came to the school.
Almost close to the same experience.
They didn't come directly to the school, but they came in Chibok town. So we were at school, and we had the Boko Haram people shooting guns, shouting in the town, and we were all students at school.
Wow.
And we don't know what to do. So we all came out from our rooms and gathered ourselves together, and the Boko Haram people came to the school and went through the staff quarters where our teachers are living. So when they got there, they didn't find anybody there. The teachers all have gone, and nobody have come among our teachers to tell us what to do. So they took the motorcycle of our teachers and came in through the hostel where we are staying. So when we had them coming, we were thinking maybe it is the teachers and the security, maybe militaries, to come and help us. Well, we didn't even know that they were the Boko Haram. So when they came in, they tell us to stay together, we should not run. We were thinking maybe they were militaries because they were wearing military's uniform.
Yeah, they have this.
So when they came in, and
they have this camouflage that they use, the camouflage that they use. Again, who sells this to them? Because there's a supply chain. I mean, there's a given supply chain.
They gather us together, and the time we know that they were the Boko Haram, they start asking us some questions, and the question they ask us is that, where is the cement block print machine?
Exactly the same story as that other lady.
We don't know anything about the machine. And the second question they ask is, where are the boys? Well, the boys are not staying at school. They always came to the school in the morning, and they went home after classes. And the third question they ask is that, where are the militaries that are looking for, that are security, that are watching us at the school? And
yeah, fair enough, yeah.
We said we don't know where they are. Before, there were the military people who were staying at school, guiding us, but when the time we started writing our final exam, they always came in the afternoon and left. They didn't used to stay at night. So they asked another question and said, where are the store where our food are kept? And they point two girls among us to go and show them where the food are kept. So they went with the two girls, and the girls showed them where the food are kept, and they went in there. They bring a big truck and load up all the food on the truck. So they tell us we should move out from the hostel and go out to the class area. So when we moved out to the class area, they didn't allow us to take anything out from our rooms or anything. They all start burning the school. They burn everything, our properties, our clothes, our books, everything. After they burn everything, then they tell us that we should move out from the school premises and go out somewhere closer to the school. And they gather all of us under a tree, and they bring a big and a long truck that we should all enter the truck. Well, the truck was long and we can't climb the truck and enter. So they bring a small car under the truck and
exactly the same story.
All of us to climb the small car and enter the big truck.
Imagine you're going to school to prepare you for life, and this is what life throws at you. Little girls, young girls being kidnapped.
We were scared and we didn't even talk. They said anyone who doesn't want to enter the truck, he should come out and they should kill him. So because we were scared and we don't know what to do, so we all entered the truck, and the truck was not enough to carry all of us. So some of us remained outside and they said they should walk. So we were in the truck and the rest of us were walking, and we reached a small village. We reached the small village and they asked the other girls to still enter the truck because they said we have a long journey, so they can't walk with their foot. So all of the girls still enter the truck, and some of us were even sitting on someone's leg, and 3 girls remain outside. And the 3 girls that remain outside, 2 of them were Christian and 1 is a Muslim. And they asked the Muslim girl, is she a Muslim or a Christian? And she said she was a Muslim. And they asked the Christian girl, she said she was a Muslim. They asked the 3rd one, and she said that she was a Christian. And one of them said that since she was a Christian, he's going to kill her.
Wow.
And some of them said no, he should not kill her, let them go home. But he said no, he's going to kill her. He was even pointing gun at her and saying that he is going to kill her. And
all for those saying that, oh no, it's not just targeted, it's just crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, there is an ideology, and except those people practicing stand firmly against that ideology, will continue to be in this mess.
And some of them said no, they should not kill them. And they tell the girls that they should turn back and run home, but they should not turn back and look at them. If they turn back, they were going to kill them. So the girls run and go back home. And they start going with us in the forest. We didn't even know where we are going with them. So when we are going with them, they have a lot of cars. Some of them were in the cars in front of us, some of them were in the back, so we were in the middle. So there were little bit distance between us and the one that in the back. So because we were in the middle of forest and it was night time, so some of us decided to jump down out of the truck and hide somewhere so that we should find a way to escape.
Wow.
So 2 girls jumped down, and I decide and say that I'm going to jump down out of the truck. I rather die that my parents have my calf and buried than to go with the Boko Haram, because I don't know where I'm going. And I tell one of my friends, I tell her this is my decision. And she said, okay, she's going to jump with me. And I jumped down first. When I jumped down, I entered the forest and hide somewhere. So the one at the back have came and passed. So after they passed, we were in the forest and we don't know what to do. We don't know where we are, and it was nighttime. So when we entered the forest, I realized that my friend had injured her leg and she can't even walk, and we don't know what to do. And we stay in the forest and we spend the night in the forest till the next day in the morning. So the next day in the morning.
So apparently some of them just took that decision to just jump out of the moving train, you know. I mean, that was just it.
It was morning and we don't know where we are and we don't know what to do because I can't carry her to take her home. So I decided to go and look for help.
Yeah. Again, I would want to appeal to those joining. I would appreciate if you could help, like, subscribe. I appreciate those that have done. And if you're not comfortable to do that, that's also good. Thanks for joining the live stream. Thanks.
So when I decided to go and look for help, I was going around in the forest and I found a shepherd in the forest. And I asked him to help us and took us somewhere in the town so that we may find help. We may find somebody who is going to take us back home.
Emmanuel Ogebe, who's sitting here, is a Nigerian human rights lawyer. He helped to bring SAR and 9 other escaped schoolgirls to the United States so they could continue their education there and complete their education in safety. Emmanuel, as I believe that Boko Haram actually means Boko, education or books. Haram is forbidden or is a sin.
Taboo. Is a sin, yeah.
What do Boko Haram actually want? What are their aims? And what is being done to try and prevent them carrying their aims out?
Yes, Boko Haram is one of the most lethal terrorist groups on the planet today. Right now, as we speak, they've killed more people than ISIS. And data that I just reviewed this morning indicates that last year, Boko Haram killed as many people as the Taliban. We're looking at a total of 10,000 people that were killed last year by this group. Now, Boko Haram means Western education is evil, which means that they go out to destroy schools. They've destroyed over 900 schools. They've killed over 300 teachers. They've killed over 500 students. But apart from schools, they target churches. And so they've destroyed, at this time, over 700 churches. One church congregation alone, they've killed 8,000 of their members. So this is a group that is conducting genocide on the planet. But their official name is People for the Propagation of the Prophet's Teachings and Jihad. So there is no doubt as to their objective and to their ideology. Their ideology is entirely consistent with the ideology of ISIS.
And Emmanuel, when the schoolgirls were kidnapped, which was about 10 months ago, there was an international outcry. We even have Michelle Obama being photographed with a sign saying, "Bring back our girls." So she took, as many others did, possession of the issue by saying "our girls." Do you feel that the international community, the United Nations, the United States, is doing enough to highlight and confront Boko Haram?
Yes, as an advocate who's been working on this issue for many years, I have to say that the global response has been totally disappointing. For example, I led the push for the designation of Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist organization in the US, and we finally got it designated. But the United Nations did not designate Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist group and impose sanctions until after the girls were abducted. But interestingly, the United Nations had been bombed by Boko Haram in 2011, and yet they didn't designate it till we had the hashtag campaign of everyone doing the Bring Back Our Girls. So that advocacy campaign helped a little, but it wasn't enough. When I went on a fact-finding mission to Nigeria, and I met the first girl who escaped, I asked her, have you been interviewed by the military, the police? No. Have you been interviewed by the media? No. This was in June.
Sure about that.
3 months after the girls were abducted in April. That was when I realized that nothing was being done for the girls who escaped. And so very little was even being done for the girls who were missing. And that was when I started the initiative to bring them back to school.
I'll just turn back to Sar for a moment. So, Sar, how long have you been now living in America? Do you feel safe there? Are you able to speak with your parents regularly? Are you worried about your friends from school that are still kidnapped?
Yeah, I've been here in America for 4 months now, and my family are still in Nigeria. Well, Borno State is not safe yet because since I came to United States, I've even don't have a chance to talk to my family because I can't even contact them. It was just 3 weeks ago that I started talking to my family. Well, they escaped from the Boko Haram because the Boko Haram attacked the place where they were living, and they even have a chance to escape and move out from there. And now the Boko Haram are still attacking the places in Borno State, and people are leaving their homes, leaving their properties to go and find somewhere to stay. So our family that are in Nigeria now, they were not safe. And among the girls, we are 10 here, and 2 girls among us lost a member of their families just last 2 weeks from the attack of the Boko Haram, because the Boko Haram attacked their village and they killed a member of their families.
Wow.
What about politicians? Obviously, you're still a teenager and you're not a campaigner, you're just studying at school.
Yeah, the politicians are useless. I mean, that's it. The politicians are very useless. I mean, look at them today, right? Look at what's happening. Like, I mean, yesterday to today, I went through, between yesterday and today, this morning, I went through 4 hours of congressional meeting in the United States, interviewing people from Nigeria, reverend fathers or bishops or whatever the designation is, other people working to ensure that there's safety in Nigeria in the fields and all of that. They had a almost 4 hours. The total length of the congressional hearing was 3 hours, 34 minutes. I've not seen anything from the Senate, nothing from Akpabio, nothing from the House of Representatives. Again, it's just quite unfortunate, to be honest with you. It's a big problem.
But have you been able to speak to senior politicians? I mean, after all, the President of the United States himself took an interest in your case. Do you feel now that you're in America, have you met senators or even been invited to the White House maybe?
When I came to United States, I speak, but I didn't have a chance to speak with the president or the senators, but I have speak in there.
She actually met with some congressmen in the United States. She's also met with the president of Nigeria in Nigeria. But again, we haven't seen this issue escalated to where it should be. And I feel that this is one of the most understated genocides on the planet today that is not receiving the attention that it deserves.
One of the understated genocide in the world today that is not receiving the attention that it deserves. This was 10 years ago. Look at the timeline. This video is from 10 years. This is not even recent. This is not just what happened recently. This was 10 years ago. So when people come to say, oh no, there's no genocide, blah, 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 blah. Again, I'm saying, okay, then what is it?
If I'm not mistaken, at the same day that we had the Charlie Hebdo massacre in Paris last month, there was a particularly gruesome massacre in Nigeria. Reports say even up to 2,000 people were killed. It's not clear whether it was quite that number, but in any case, it did not get the same publicity, partly because the media was obviously very consumed with Charlie Hebdo. So one final question.
Yeah, it's really it's terrible. Hi, Emmanuel.
Is,
yeah.
as I understand, Boko Haram have got increasing connections and links with other jihadi terror groups, including ISIS. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. You see, the problem is that Boko Haram, while it is an extremist jihadist group, is being looked on by many in the West as a function of poverty and misgovernance in Africa. No. The ideology behind Boko Haram is the same ideology behind ISIS, behind what's happening in Syria, and so on and so forth. I want to dispel the notion that this is poverty-driven, because if you look at Libya, if you look at Iraq, and you look at Nigeria, guess what? They're all OPEC member countries. They're all oil-producing countries. So it is not poverty that is the driver. And these groups are all interlinked. As far back as the invasion of Afghanistan, there were Nigerian foreign fighters fighting alongside Al-Qaeda. When Boko Haram first emerged in 2002, its original name was the Nigerian Taliban. And so for any Western individual to claim that this is a function of poverty and that this is not global jihad connected, that is false. Let me point out one more thing. We're very disappointed that, you know, what happened in Baga, where 2,000 people were killed in exactly the same time as what was happening in Paris occurred. Here's the thing. Boko Haram has killed citizens of over 15 countries. Many people don't realize they're not just killing Nigerians. They've killed Norwegians, Britons, Italians, Germans, Koreans, Chinese, so many people. Yet we're not getting the attention that this deserves. So we hope that what has happened in Paris...
That was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, and you're expecting a different result, that's called insanity, right?
It's a wake-up call to humanity, that we've all got to stand up and face what Pope Francis has called the Third World War, which is happening incrementally across the globe.
And just finally, you might want to also add that Boko Haram have recently infiltrated into neighboring countries, Cameroon, Chad, and so on, and also that one of the bombers caught in London who was Nigerian, London in England, of course, was Nigerian and inspired by Boko Haram, and was living in a £600,000 apartment in one of the nicest areas of London. So it's absolutely not about poverty. They're quite a wealthy group, as are ISIS.
They've got fundings. They've got fundings from all over. They've got fundings from all around the world. There are some groups that they pledge allegiance to ISIS. They get funding. Also, they are involved in some kind of mineral mining, in the north. So where you have all those deposits of minerals, you see a lot of activities there, just in a bid to send them away, send all those villagers away from those villages, and then they do some kind of massive, excavation? Yeah.
Ideology, the philosophy behind Boko Haram. Just finally, because I understand you have to go to give an interview, is there any final message maybe Sar or Emmanuel would like to give, for your friends that are still kept, and some of them we read from. I should point out that other girls who escaped later, Sar was lucky enough to escape on the very first night she was abducted, but some months later some other girls escaped, bringing stories of absolute atrocities and hell and rape and abuse of all kinds. So is there any final message you might want to give to your school friends who are still abducted?
The message I want to give is that I really want my friends, they were my friends, my colleagues, I really want them to come back, because if I look at myself here, I'm in the United States. I came here to continue with my studies. Well, my colleagues are still in captivity, and it's like 10 months now. No any serious action was taken about them, and I was here now continue with my studies where they were in the forest. Nobody even know anything about them. I really want help. I want if the United Nations can help and bring back the girls so that we should come and continue with our studies and to help and bring them back to their family, and also to help our country, especially Borno State in Nigeria, that are captured by the Boko Haram.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And talking about bring back our girls, there's another campaign going on right now for the girls in Niger State, you know, that were actually kidnapped and all that. So this is what's happening. Let me see. We're gonna get something here. Yep.
In the studio this morning.
Thank you.
Pino, how you doing?
It's a sad day.
Yes, it's a sad day. Certainly nobody should be doing fine in Nigeria. You know, hearing a news like this that over 100 students is kidnapped from St. Mary's Papiri Private Catholic Secondary School at Papiri in Agwara local government area.
So I'm hearing that it's around 52 students. Actually, that's a number that I'm seeing across different write-ups, different releases and all that. Again, one student is one too many, not to talk of, you know, even 52, and possibly maybe the number is even been managed. Maybe it's even more than 100, but I'm just saying they were kidnapped this morning.
Area of Niger State. Niger State is a neighboring state to Abuja, the FCT. As a matter of fact, among the states that contributed the land that made up FCT. How close are these terrorists to everything and anything in Nigeria?
They're everywhere.
Phil, let me start from you.
They're everywhere.
One is almost speechless, really.
Yeah.
Not just speechless, but profoundly sad. And much so because we have a government in place.
Yeah.
Sometimes the beginning of this this era, I call it an era, there was this expression, ungoverned areas. And I kept telling everybody, there's nothing like an ungoverned area. Mm-hmm. If you go and build a house anywhere in this country, somebody will come and knock at your door and say, hey,
you have taken over my land.
You have taken my land.
Yes.
So that is just some kind of fallacy.
Yeah, I agree.
These guys are having a free ride.
Yeah.
And it has become a humongous enterprise.
It's bigger than the cartel that is running Mexico right now. These guys are well entrenched in whatever it is that they're doing. And it's gotten to a point where it's getting more crazily difficult to contain.
And everybody is jumping in. We don't even know anymore who the terrorists are.
Yeah.
Because almost everybody now can just sign up and become a terrorist.
Yeah.
And the saddest part is that we're using our kids as pawns. Mm-hmm. These are very fragile, vulnerable people that should be protected.
Yes.
By every means, by every power that government owns. And here we are. The news is that there was intelligence report. And the state government acted on that to some point, flagging up the schools that, listen, there's something going on, so nobody should go to school.
Yeah.
The question is, having done that, then what? I've expected that in security circles, if there's a threat, first you take precaution, and then you watch.
Nigeria needs serious help. Many were kidnapped yesterday. Yeah, we're talking about that. Niger State, and that's what these gentlemen are talking about. Many number of killings have no record. Please stay safe. Yeah, again, it's crazy. Now, this can be taken care of if we have a serious president. If you have a president that really knows what he's doing, this can easily be taken care of I'm not going to finish this video. Once I get to a point to just capture the thoughts of this gentleman, I'm going to move on to tell you, because this is also close. Like, this guy was talking about how a lot of people have joined into this so-called terrorism, and it's not bandits. Again, bandits is more like you trying to lessen the old, substance. These are terrorists, and you have to treat them as such. Enough of all this, we have to negotiate with them. You don't negotiate with terrorists. Because the plan for you to become a terrorist, you actually want to terrorize and destroy people. Now, ISIS was also like that. People were moving all over the world to join ISIS. People left the UK. People left the United States of America. In fact, there's a film on Netflix called The Bride of ISIS. Okay? So it was a big organization. It was a caliphate. Okay, it was more like a combination of a bit of Syria, of a bit of Iraq. Okay, Iraq and Syria. That's where the thing comes. Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. So it was more like a behemoth stuff. It was already capturing, what was happening in the Middle East. Again, also trying to also destroy Europe and the likes. How was Trump able to capture and to destroy ISIS within just a few months of him being in office? I'm going to play that clip right now. I think I should even play right now if I'm going to go back to this guy. How did he do it? And I'm going to tell you, I've played it on my show before, except we go with that level of intensity. Okay, we'll just be here making another stuff. So let me just play that.
I flew to a lovely place. I flew to a lovely place called Iraq. And I flew at night, and I got there at night, and I said to myself, this is interesting, because they say, sir, all of the lights in the plane, sir, are going off. I say, why? Because we're getting ready to land. We're an hour out. I said, what about the shades? Well, we want it better than that. Maybe light gets through. So we turned the lights off, put the shades down. This is a big 740 Air Force One. And we're landing, and I go up and I look. And I've landed. I like to sit with pilots. I respect people that know what they're doing. And these are the best in the world. I really do. These are the best in the world. And the pilot says, sir, we're landing in approximately 1.5 minutes. I say, but there's no runway. No, sir, the runway's right up there,
Yep.
sir. I say, I don't see it. I have pretty good vision.
Well, those kidnapping the children of
At least for
Nigeria.
my age, I have.
Yeah, he's a terrorist.
I guess for my age, I have great vision, but
let him go, please.
I don't have
first of
vision
all.
like
Okay.
a 35-year-old captain.
So again, I'm playing this because this was how Trump was able to destroy ISIS, because ISIS was rampaging all around the world at the time. So let me just play that.
He said, no, it's right up there. I said, I'm sorry, Captain. How about this? Should we lift off and try to get Captain? There's no runway. Anyway, no, he said, right up there. And we land. There's practically no lights. These are little pin spots. And I said, think of this.
Hi, Brian.
We spent $7 trillion in the Middle East, and we can't land a plane with the lights on. 20 years later. How bad is that? Now, seriously, how bad is it?
And that's what politicians do. If you look at the budget of the Nigerian military at this point in time, we've not spent less. We're spending trillions of naira to curtail security issues in Nigeria, but it's getting worse. So again, there's also that an incentive, even from that end, to keep this thing going.
$7 trillion, and we have to fly in with no lights. But I met some incredible people. Generals. One of them came from Syria, the operation in Syria. And I was upset with my generals because they weren't getting it finished. I want the job done. I want to bring our people back home. It's not fair. And this is why I flew. So I met generals I didn't know. General 1, General 2, General 3. I mean, these generals, there's no person in Hollywood that could play the role. These guys are like perfect people. I said, what's your name? Sir, my name is Raisin. What the hell kind of a name? I said, Raisin, like the fruit? He goes, yes, sir, Raisin. What's your last name? Kane, Raisin Kane. I said, you gotta be kidding. It's true.
Yeah.
Raisin Kane, I just made him a big star. Just like I did with Mattis when I said, we're gonna give you a new nickname, because Chaos is not a good nickname. So we changed his name. Called him Mad Dog, but it wasn't working too well. Mad Dog wasn't working too well. So what happened is I flew to Iraq. I wanted to meet the people on the site because I learn more sometimes from soldiers, what's going on, than I do from generals.
Yeah.
I do. I hate to say it. And I tell that to the generals all
So again, Tinubu should be learning more from soldiers, those that are facing these terrorists day and night. Those that, if Tinubu had called in General, is it Umbu that died, to a meeting, it would have been more effective than the so-called service chiefs that is just changed in Abuja. You know, it just changed the service chief. And now we have all these problems. One of the things that people were saying was that the guy that was there was beginning to get a hand over the terrorism problem. And he gave an order that any soldier that sees a terrorist, don't wait for any other, just shoot and kill. So they said the North were annoyed and they had him removed.
But I didn't have to go there. I didn't have to go there because I landed this airport, the most incredible thing. We must have spent $3 billion building it. One of the reasons I don't want to leave Iraq so fast, I said, how do we leave this thing? So I have Raisin Kane, 3 other generals, colonels, sergeants, and I said, bring the cameras, I'm going to make a movie. This is the most incredible thing. And I said to the generals, listen, we got to get out. I want to know, why is it going to take 2 years to knock off 2 or 3 or 4%, which is what we had left? It won't, sir. I said, tell me why it won't. It won't, sir. If we attack them in a different manner, we can do it much faster. Okay, General Raisin Kane, how fast can... Sir, we can have it totally finished in 1 week. I said, 1 week?
So the generals in Washington was telling Trump it's going to take 2 years to defeat ISIS. The general on the field was telling Trump right there in Iraq base that it's going to take 1 week. 2 years to 1 week. So if your boss comes to you and say, this project, I want to do it, and you say it's going to be 2 years, and I go meet another person, and that person says it's going to take 1 week, what happens? Trump would not have known that they could actually defeat ISIS within 1 week if he had not taken that trip back. Do you understand? Taking that trip to Iraq. Because the generals in Washington was telling Trump it's going to take 2 years. The army on the ground was telling Trump, if you give us the right command, it's going to take 1 week to destroy ISIS. Why can't Nigeria use drone and satellite? Exactly. That's a very fair question. That's a very good question. Why? I don't understand. These people come out. Again, they move on bicycles. We've seen them meeting with the military. Again, they're doing a kind of, chit chat with the military. The military, they're saying they're integrating some Boko Haram people back into the military. Like some of these things that you can't even alter them. The people that you're sending your guys to go kill or unalive, you're having meetings with them. You just had meetings with them a few weeks ago to try and understand what. So again, that's the problem. We don't have people who have an idea of what they're doing. So Trump went to Iraq, to the American base in Iraq, and said, it's going to take, the general on ground says it's going to take 1 week. The general in Washington, sipping their tea, says it's going to take 2 years, because that 2 years is going to give the military contractors, it's going to give all of those people that supply food, ammunition, and all that more money. Because when you do it within 1 week, then that chain is gone. Now, look at how Trump reacted when he heard that he could actually defeat ISIS in 1 week, because he did defeat ISIS very fast after he went back to Washington from his visit in Iraq.
I was told 2 years. 1 week. That's right, sir. We're only hitting them from a temporary base in Syria. But if you gave us permission, we could hit them from the back, from the side, from all over, from the base that you're right on right now, sir. They won't know what the hell hit them.
Exactly. You don't fight terrorism for 10 years, for 2 years, for 3 years. It has to be fast. It has to be decisive. You have to cut the sauce and then watch for anything that wants to spring and then nip it in the bud as soon as you can. Oh yeah, because the Nigerian leader signed with the Islamic State never to fight the terrorists. For that, he was given the seat of power. I mean, looking at the way he behaves, he's not even made any major statement. You know, the last time he spoke, when there was a Benue massacre and all of that, he was just speaking, you know, he couldn't even get to the venue of the massacre. And then you had the party, they came in with cloth. They went to get the same attire to receive the president. I mean, anyways, so Trump was mad that the generals told him that it's going to take 2 years to defeat ISIS. Meanwhile, the guy on the field, the general on the field, said 1 week.
They won't know what the hell hit them, sir. And I said, why didn't my other generals tell me that? Why didn't they tell me that? I said, did you tell them that? Not our place to say it, sir. They come in from Washington, sir. We have to take orders. You're the first one to ask us our opinion.
Wow.
True. It's true.
See that? And that was it. You were the first one. And then what happened? He didn't say that. So he said he went back to Washington. He gave them the order. After he gave them the order, when ISIS fell, okay, the whole world was not ready for them to fall. Because when ISIS fell, you know, I told you earlier on that a lot of people have moved. People moved from, you know, there was a high recruiting campaign by the ISIS. They were bringing in people from all over the world. People left their studies to go to join ISIS to fight. So when ISIS fell, you had all of these citizens from different countries that were kind of stuck. They don't know where to go. So Trump was telling UK, come and take your citizens. UK was saying, oh, they're not our citizens. They were not ready. The world wasn't ready for the fall of ISIS because it was drastic, it was fast, and it had someone that was tenacious. We don't have that in Nigeria, unfortunately. We don't. And these guys are just moving. These guys are just moving. They are moving with, I don't even know, jet speed might be even an understatement. They're moving, and they're moving so fast.
They reach Kwara. It may be Lagos. Is there?
They reach Kwara. Kwara is just next door to Lagos. Just next door to Lagos, okay? So
Religious genocide in Nigeria. There was beheading in Kanu because Reinhard Bonnke came to hold a crusade, and they said Christian crusade is not allowed. Not only did they destroy the equipment, they cut Christians. Is that genocide or not? Deborah Samuel, a girl in a polytechnic in the north in Nigeria, she saw on the platform of her class that people were posting religious, and she said, hey, this platform is for our study, not for religion. They killed her, and when it became a court case, 52 barristers who hold the religious faith different from her showed up to defend the guys who killed her. Is that genocide or not? Evangelist Eunice in Greater Abuja went out 5 a.m. to do what we used to do down south here. We knew people who wake up and be waking people to prayer. That's what Evangelist Eunice did, and they hacked her to death. We cannot say there is no religious intolerance. If you say there is no religious intolerance, explain to me why. Maitasine in the 70s, a man who rose and began to teach a form of Islamic cleansing that says anybody who was not of that particular belief must die. Is that not genocide? And is that fair in a secular nation? 270 girls were carried out of a school. They were all Christians. The people who carried them committed 5 crimes. 1, child molestation, because they raped these girls. Nigeria's criminal law says that if you sleep with anyone under 18, which is the age of consent, it's a crime. 2, if you carry a person against their will across border, it's trafficking. I thought we have human trafficking laws. 3, you force these people to change religion. 4, you force them into marriage. That is the 4th criminal offense. 5, some of them were violently raped. And then 6,
Some of them were killed. The same people who committed this crime, you said you forgave them. Who forgave them? Where were they forgiven? Which court of law? Is it the government that said, okay, we suspend the criminal laws of Nigeria in the case of Boko Haram? Who did it? If you now say you forgave them, where are they? It is rumored that some of them are now repented and you brought them into the army. How can a man who killed and committed all this crime?
That's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. You brought your killers into the army. What is the goal of all these useless terrorists? Was the objective? The objective is to, number one, they've been radicalized. So there's the power factor there. There's also the foreign influence. We've seen some monies from the USA, to be honest, that has actually flown to the hands of the terrorists. I mean, it was said clearly that some of this USAID money actually found its way to the terrorists. How? How did that happen? And there's been nobody from the US that's been prosecuted for that. Or possibly maybe not from the US, maybe the money got to Nigeria and it was siphoned and given to the terrorists. There's nobody that has been named and mentioned, as part of the culprits that has been prosecuted for that.
Now qualified to be a defender of the nation. It is rumored that some of them are in the Air Force. How can a man like that defend the Federal Republic of Nigeria? How can we entrust him in the country where I live at the moment, in England? If you touch a child, rape and move, you touch a child in an indecent way, you will be in the register of child molesters. And the moment you change local government, you must go and report yourself.
I think you would want to go back and confirm if that's still happening in England, because there are a lot of cases in England right now with respect to sexual assault that has been buried. And unfortunately, the current Prime Minister of England was also in on those stuff because of this same intolerant stuff, because most of those things were coming from refugees and they didn't want to. They were kind of saying it's a sensitive issue and they buried the whole thing. Almost 1 million girls in the UK within a given period. I mean, it's all over the news, it's on X and all that. So again, it's still the same set of ideology that has pushed all these things.
As a child molester, so you can be on the books of child molesters. You don't need the police to do it. You have to go and report yourself. Once the court have passed a case against you that you molested, there are jobs you cannot get. But in our own case, we said these guys are forgiven. 1, who forgave? 2, where were they forgiven? 3, where did we see their repentance? 4, where is the fruit of their repentance? So we cannot say that there is no genocide. In case you don't know, what you know as Kaduna State was once, including Katsina, and on grounds of religion, Katsina State was cut off because the majority of Katsina State was Islamic, and what remained as Kaduna State was majority what we call Southern Kaduna. And despite cutting and now having Kaduna State, the south of Kaduna State is 99% Christian, producing Professor Ishaya Audu, first Vice Chancellor Amadu Bello, producing General Ishaya Bameyi, producing former Deputy Governor Central Bank Melafia. But somebody was still not satisfied and wanted their land, and particularly under the watch of a particular governor, probably 23,000 of these people died. Is it not so? And if people of that number died, I mean, Zangukata, people were being hacked, cut like animals because you wanted their land and because they didn't follow your religion. Is that genocide or not? You will have to answer. I haven't answered any of your questions yet. But if you say there's no genocide, answer my questions. I was born a Muslim. My name is Ahmed. My mother is Aishat. My brother is Mudashir. My sister is Khadijat. My dad is Salah. I was born in 1952 in Zaria. Born in the military barracks. I grew up in Kaduna, Zaria, Kaduna, Kanu. So my answer does not come out of just newspaper, but experience. And then, if all that is not genocide, and if it is just religious intolerance, what happened when Melafia came out and said, I am from Southern Kaduna, and 23,000 of our people died? And actually, when we call people who should come and defend them, the military, the police, they don't show. It is after the people are gone that they show. And they say they have it on good record that some mysterious helicopters are coming to give these people equipment. Is that not a plan at genocide? If you say that is not genocide, what shall we say of what's going on in particularly states in the north that are of Christian conviction? Benue State, even today's Vanguard reports.
Okay, so again, a lot of that. I just want to move on. So what's been done right now? I think Ribadu is in the United States of America. This is it here. The U.S. War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, meets Nigerian on Christian persecution and jihadist threat. The closed-door meeting focused on stopping violence that has killed thousands and displaced millions since 2009, including recent kidnapping at a Catholic school and a deadly church raid. Exet, who is the the more like the chief defense secretary, urged urgent action from Nigerian forces and offered U.S. partnership through training and intelligence sharing to counter groups like Boko Haram. No direct U.S. military plans surface. Yeah, they're not going to send their troops yet. Even if they're going to do anything, it's going to be fast. But again, there's territorial integrity and all of those. So it's going to be very difficult. This whole thing stops at the table of Tinubu, and we should demand that he provides a lasting solution to that. I don't know if that would happen. Even as President Trump, one of stronger step if killing continues. So this is Ribadu. Under Trump's leadership, DOW, Department of War, is working aggressively with Nigeria to end the persecution of Christians by jihadist terrorists. So this is except this is Ribadu, and that's it. For me, it's not about allegation whether there is genocide. So this is Peter Obi speaking. Let me see what he has to say.
As a country of particular concern, alleging over the crime of Christian genocide, the government has denied this allegation.
Well, for me, it's not about allegation, whether there's genocide or not. My question is, are people dying? Yes. So let's deal with people dying. Whatever you call it, yes, government maybe, we don't want to say genocide. Let me agree with everybody's right. But are people dying? For me, let's deal with the issue of people dying. Whether it is genocide or not, that is for people who have more understanding and maybe who have followed it. My studies have not shown me personally, but what it's shown me is that people are dying and we need to deal with it. And if I was in position, I would have met him
as a
okay. So if I was in position, yeah, with all due respect, nobody in current Nigerian government is trustworthy. They're all nothing but chronic liars and terrorist sympathizers. So again, yeah, we'll see what happens from here. Okay. Yeah, just showing them. Okay. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know what will come out of that, but hopefully something comes out from that. Now, also, this is global news. What happened in Niger States today? Breaking. These are guys that are US. They don't really report Nigerian stuff, but now this thing is getting to the forefront. Breaking: Nigerian government has kidnapped 52. And this is Fox News reporting that this morning.
Let's get straight to that Fox News alert out of Nigeria. Gunmen early this morning reportedly kidnapping 52 students from a Catholic school, adding to the urgency of President Trump's fight to end Christian persecution.
Our senior foreign affairs correspondent, Greg Palcott, joins us now with the details. Greg, what do you know?
Hey, folks. Yeah, amazing. Another story coming out of Nigeria. More violence there. Christians definitely under fire. A Catholic secondary school in the town of Agwara, that's in the northwestern part of Nigeria, was attacked by gunmen early this morning about 1 a.m. local time. Local media now says that 52 school children aged 12 to 17
so 52 is the number.
Were kidnapped. A desperate search is now on, involving military and police. This comes after a Catholic church nearby was attacked earlier this week. 2 people were killed and 38 worshipers were abducted. A ransom of $69,000 per person has been demanded. Thousands of Christians have been killed in recent years, leading some to speak of a Christian genocide there. President Trump has branded Nigeria a country of particular concern regarding religious freedom, threatening to cut off aid, threatening to send in U.S. troops. Still, other analysts note Muslims are getting hurt in the country, too, not just by Islamist terrorists, but organized bandits, crooks, professional militants. 25 children were kidnapped at yet another school in western Nigeria on Monday. One escaped. That happened in a mostly Muslim area.
Yeah, so the Kebbi stuff happened in a Muslim area. The Niger stuff happened in a Christian area. The whole country is just going to a lot difficult time right now, and that's it. So whatever is happening happening in Nigeria right now, you can be so sure it's getting international stuff, international coverage. But we don't just want international coverage; we want results. I don't know how they want to do this because this thing has actually spread Kwara State is there. The Niger State government has condemned the kidnapping of the pupils of St. Mary's School in Papiri, Agwara local government area, saying the incidents occurred after the school reopened without government clearance. Now you can go to school. You have to actually ask the governor, how do you want me to go to school and all of that? And it's quite crazy. Tinubu is still yet to have a press conference to address the nation on this issue. It's been kind of incommunicado. I know he's working behind the scene, but again, we're gonna see what happens. It's just crazy. Who is this? Woman recounts harrowing escape as over 200 pupils abducted in Niger. Let me see
Where
this.
we are staying is not even up to 15. I just finished speaking with my mom, and let me tell you guys, my mom said they went to Papiri because from Papiri to where we are staying is not even up to 15 minutes.
Damn.
They went there because my sister Anuli is in that school. She's currently in secondary school in that school. They went there and it was more than 200 students. They picked up more than 200 people.
Wow, times 4. So again, there's a 52 official number. Maybe it's more than that. So are they trying to bury the real number? I'm just saying.
In that school, some are 4 years, 3 years, some are 4 siblings, some are 3 siblings. They picked up all these people and they tied them like sheep and goats walking inside.
Now again, this is not verified. I can't verify this. This is just someone talking. I don't know who she is. It's not official. So, but then again, this is the nation Nigeria, one of the top leading news media of the country, see, with 2.6 million followers. So if you have a major national news media stuff, is an official, one of the widest circulating newspapers. So again, they are the one revealing this. Woman recounts her own escape. So there's a little bit of maybe some sense to that.
Said people that were coming to that school, some parents that were coming to that school through the road, through the bike, that they saw them.
As they were going, right?
They saw their kids on the road.
Damn.
Walking inside bush. They were tied like goats, like sheep. This is getting out of hand. More than 200 people were kidnapped this morning. More than 200. And Anwuli, she was so lucky to escape because they in secondary school that they didn't get to secondary school part. They go to the primary school section and they jumped fence. Anwuli is currently in the house now. Just finished with my mom. They jumped fence. Most of their classmates jumped fence.
Wow.
They were able to capture the little children, 4, 3, 5 years. That was the people they kidnapped. And according to my mom, they saw plane. Plane. How did bandits get plane? How?
Wow. Again, that's alleged. Okay, that's alleged. But again, this is not the first time I'm hearing stuff about planes and helicopters surrounding, hovering certain areas before the attack commences. There's a deep conspiracy. Okay, there's a deep conspiracy. I listened to this.
So, yesterday night, yesterday's date is the 20th of November 2025. Yesterday night, Nigerians. So, yesterday's date is the 20th of November.
Okay.
St. Mary Private Primary and Secondary School, Papiri and Gwara local government area of Niger State. They stormed that school yesterday night. These guys came with over 60 motorcycles. 60. I'm just telling you fact. 60 motorcycles, and they came also with van. Now,
the country is on fire, and the government is busy building houses for judges and building roads that end safe for passage. Exactly who's going to go through? I mean, as good as the investment is, who's going to go through that when you don't even know if you're going to get there safe? Yeah.
A mixed boarding school with boys and girls. They kidnapped over, right now, I can't give you the exact number of students or pupils that are missing, but it is over 100.
Damn.
100. I'm telling you that fact. Over 100 people are said to be missing, including teachers and students. This one happened yesterday night in Niger State here. Papri, the school name is St. Mary Private Primary and Secondary School, Papri and Gwara local government area of Niger State. These guys came with over 60 bikes and van. Right now, we can tell you, I can confirm to you right now that the number of people that are missing is not yet verified. But
okay, so that's it. I mean, it's quite it's quite crazy what's happening there. On another note, let me see. This just by the side. Chai, this girl don't enter hand like this. She enter. So what's this? Let me see. This is VR, right? Oh, what the hell? What's this? Like, again. What? Wow, that's a big loss, bro. That's a big loss. It's crazy. I'm gonna move on. With respect to all these things happening, I mean, I just hope that there could be, you know, there could be a shelf life to all these problems. There could be, you know, an end in sight to all these problems. Look at this. Another genocide. I don't know if this is coming from the school or if it's just at the picture of what happened today. There are still people saying my resources when people ask for help to end this. This is crazy. Okay, so there is a statement from the Catholic Diocese of Kotangora. This is Niger State. The priests, religious and faithful Catholic Diocese of Kotangora attack and kidnapping of pupils, students and teachers of the St. Mary Catholic Primary and Secondary School, Papiri, Niger State. This is to inform us that armed attackers invaded St. Mary Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Papiri, Niger State in the early hours of 21 November 2025, abducting some pupils, students, teachers, and a security personnel who was badly shot. The incidents occurred between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., causing fear and distress within the school community. The Catholic Diocese of Kotangora strongly condemns the attack and expressed deep concern for the safety of the kidnapped children and their families. Security agencies were immediately informed and have begun coordinated effort to ensure the safe rescue and return of the victims. The bishop assured the public that the diocese is actively collaborating with security operatives, community leaders, and government authorities. The diocese called on the public to remain calm, support security efforts, and continue praying for the safe and quick return of all abducted. It is reaffirmed its commitment to it's also reaffirmed its commitment to the protection of children and promised to provide further updates as verified information becomes available. May the Lord grant quick release of those abducted and continue to protect his people from all danger. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This is what Sonia Bacha said. And I think I said that yesterday. If an uproar, any uproar, lasts for 24 hours, know that the government is behind it. Since the start of this problem of insecurity and bandits in Nigeria, no one has been arrested, not to talk of convicting them. But they just convicted Nnamdi Kanu. Yeah, they just convicted Nnamdi Kanu. Why all these guys are just, you know, and talking about Nnamdi Kanu, let's see this.
Nigerian government, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Nigerian government, please free Nnamdi Kanu. He has suffered a lot. Tell him Makanaki.
Man.
Okay, what's this?
When I see I need down, I know they disrespect you now. I bet me not leave me. Man, tell them, say I know they fight you now. But you see that now I'm the Kanu. I beg, make they go release him.
Okay.
The Baba, you don't too suffer. What
Okay.
see you do? They know they respect people.
No, thanks for the follow, Edwin.
Say,
I appreciate it.
oh. So let's do the right thing so that everybody go live in love and harmony. Because Igbo people, I love you guys. I don't want to lose you. So let's all come together so that Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, everybody will live in one harmony and peace. Then, which I want to talk again. Nigeria government, the 25 people have been 25 girls when they say they carry. No, now go find them, release them. Then Nigerian soldiers where they kill. Many matter dey ground, but me una first start down. I beg. Nigerian government.
Okay, and talking about Nnamdi Kanu, let's move on. So, following the verdict and the judgment that was given yesterday, I just learned that they secretly transferred him to a prison in Sokoto. Why are you taking him to Sokoto? I still don't understand why he's been taken to Sokoto. Because it doesn't make sense. I mean, let's even assume that the crime was committed in Nigeria. The guy didn't go to Sokoto to do anything. So the lawyers was actually talking today. Let me just get you the stuff. It was talking today, and it made mention of how they've moved him over to another place. Before I get the lawyer stuff, let me see what this person is talking about here.
The special grace of God, you will one day have a taste of it. Terrorists and bandits are going up and down, doing all sorts of havoc in northern Nigeria, in eastern Nigeria, in western Nigeria. Some weeks ago, they entered Kwara State and killed Christians inside the church. Anke Shesu, inside the church. Weeks ago, Anje KB, Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School Maga, and abducted 25 pupils and killed their principal. Where is Leah Sharibu today? Where is Leah Sharibu? Where is Leah Sharibu? Deborah was set ablaze in Sokoto. And to my greatest surprise, lawyers came out. Not that they were hidden, they came out openly to defend those Islamic extremists, the mobs that set her ablaze. What is the justice we are talking about here? Nnamdi Kanu is the least of our problems in this country. Is the least of our problems. Our brothers, our fathers are being sent, soldiers are being sent to die for nothing. You all saw the general that was killed.
Yeah.
So where is the justice that we are talking about?
Exactly.
Where is the justice? Nnamdi Kanu shine masalamu a Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu shine masalamu a Nigeria. Allah ba yana kallon mu. Allah yana kallon mu. God is watching. God is watching. Everyone that is seeing the injustice in this country, that is clapping hand for it. I pray for you this morning. You and your family with you.
Okay.
Everywhere is
we don't need those colorful words here.
Bandits are coming out to make live videos.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are on TikTok. These people that are supposedly against Western education, they're on TikTok streaming their atrocities. We see them. We see that one carrying the gun and trying to kill, not kill, but just trying to tell that lady to plead for help and raise money.
Some Islamic scholars are coming out openly to have a meeting with bandits.
Yeah.
And up till today,
Gumin, right? That's
nobody have called them for questioning. Sana imudan mutum ya tashi ya yi defending kanshi za a zo lokacin ne aka san justice. Where is the justice system we are talking about here?
There's none, no?
Nnamdi Kanu, you see our problem? Is Nnamdi Kanu our problem? You people are not going after those who are killing people, who are coming out to do live videos, who are coming out to openly sympathize with terrorists and bandits. We have seen a lot of terrorist sympathizers openly hiding Akirasu for questioning, but God is watching. God is watching.
I don't understand. How? Okay. So we're gonna move on. I thought she was an Elijah. I don't know, but bro, I don't know what happened there. So again, back to what I was saying. This is what I want us to talk about. Nnamdi Kanu has been moved to Sokoto.
Was convicted in 1963 for treason. That conviction was equally questionable, and it was overturned through a political decision that was, there's a debate whether it was Gowon or Ojukwu that made that decision, but in any case, it was a political decision that set him free. Nelson Mandela as well was convicted. He served time, long, 27 years. It was political decision of the South African government under de Klerk that set him free. So was that of Enahoro, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Mbazulika Amechi. And then when you go to the United States itself, Martin Luther King was convicted at one point.
Right, very briefly, we're almost out of time.
And again, Mahatma Gandhi. So now this conviction, described as a travesty of justice, not just by the United States, by everybody. So it gives Nigerian government the opportunity to step in. Okay. If something went down, something went wrong, there's a new opportunity, a new window of opportunity to solve it. You see, America took a very weighty decision recently to intervene security-wise in this country, and they never mentioned the IPOB on Nnamdi Kanu. If they do, it's going to be in favorable terms, not in disfavorable terms.
Right. Okay, I've got to go.
Kind of points a way forward for Nigerian government to do that, so that this sense of exclusion and alienation in the South is that is running rife will be checked once and for all.
Barrister Aloy.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's that about that. Let me see. Sentencing of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, judicial's firm stand prove Nigeria is a nation of law. Ungumadu. What's this? This practice of pardoning individuals who take up arms and rebel against the state began with the Niger Delta militants. Some of us warned granting pardon without necessary repercussion, restitution, or punishment will only encourage impunity. Nigeria has now acted correctly by asserting the authority of the judiciary and demonstrating that this is a country governed by law. Tell that to the terrorist guys that were bomb fisting
delicate corpse.
Let's look at this.
That heroic defeat in this whole plan to rescue himself from that situation. I don't think it was well informed. I do sincerely believe that for a very complex, high-profile criminal trial, he needed not just his legal team, but all the expertise that he could muster to get around those delicate corpses. That he lost when he disbanded and relieved the legal team he assembled, many of whom were about the best in this country. You're talking of people like Kanu Agabi, SAN, former Attorney General of the Federation. You're talking of people like Ikbazu, a profound gentleman, Rukuru, and a host of others. Now, if you listen to Nnamdi Kanu, as he marshaled his own point, you could see, at least he came across as a very intelligent, educated young man. But there's a whole world between that education, that knowledge, and being learned in law. It is the training that the lawyer has that enables him to, first of all, appraise the case, understand the facts, and more importantly, apply the laws to those facts with a view to demobilizing the case of the prosecution. Let me be frank with you. Even as a defense lawyer, I can tell you that it is easier to defend a criminal charge than to prosecute a criminal charge. The reason for that is that the standard of proof required by a prosecutor to secure conviction in a criminal case is beyond every reasonable doubt. Therefore, if you're able to throw...
So again, one of the arguments, and I'm not, just trying to carry waters for that. Number one, I said it here again that Nnamdi Kanu should go and appeal the case, which the lawyers or the consultant, because he disbanded his team, said they're going to appeal, but it needs a very, very strong team, and it should get out of the way. Let his lawyers do their job. Because the justice would only make decisions based on the evidences that has been presented to him or her. So as it goes to appeal, I'm saying, if we don't want to get to this conclusion again, then it needs to get a very, very strong legal team and get out of the way of those legal teams. Because there are a lot of intricacy. Again, there are a lot of traps. I saw someone saying that, Nnamdi Kanu was trying to protect the lawyers. No. By saying he's going to defend himself. It doesn't work that way. That doesn't even make sense. That submission didn't make sense.
Any shadow of doubt however minimal, that will weigh in favor of the defendant. All of those Kanu threw overboard. I imagine that it is either he wasn't listening to his legal team, or he had that force of conviction that made him believe that he can do without them. Look, this is a court of law.
Yeah, that was a big
and
mistake.
it goes beyond the sentiment and the emotion that plays out there. The judge has sworn to uphold the law no matter whose heart is God. And therefore, many of the sentiments and the emotions that played out, not just in the head, but in the imagination of every person around him, may be completely discountenanced. But I think the big point is that Nigeria has managed to show its resentment as a country towards this kind of violent behavior. At least that is what it is now. It's been convicted. And once that is established, it is now the responsibility of the same country, given the nature of this matter, and having regards to all other considerations around the country, including the point that at the moment we know and we see terrorist groups who are discussing with state actors in certain parts of the country.
Yeah, but the question where people, what got people mad, and I kind of understand the point of view for those who were mad, is that how come it's giving a very harsh sentence compared to people who actually did actual acts, caught in the act of terrorism, multiple bombing, multiple attacks, and all of that? How come Nnamdi Kanu was given a very, very harsh sentence? And that's where the disparity comes, and that's what makes people mad. And that's why they're tying into the fact that possibly because he's just from the Southeast. Again, I'm not from the Southeast, but again, I mean, a normal thinking person would look at this and say, oh, this guy killed a lot of people, bombed a lot of places and all of that, got 15 years. This guy also did a lot of, terrorist acts, got 20 years. This guy did a broadcast and possibly maybe incited some people to do some bad things. But he didn't do it. And they said he orchestrated, but did he fund stuff? Did he send ammunitions and all that? Again, I'm saying if you're going to convict, then it has to be, based on, it must be commensurate to the real stuff that happened.
The question is, are they different from Nnamdi Kanu? If they are not different, then the state, having handed the punishment on this one, should be able to review, and there are so many options on the table. The Attorney General of the country, under Section 174 of the Constitution, has a constitutional power to initiate or withdraw a criminal charge.
Okay.
That can be explored. You could say that this has come to an end with a judgment. Nnamdi Kanu has the option to appeal. Once the appeal goes on, it is still a continuation of the criminal trial. Yeah. And that can invoke and activate the right of the Attorney General. Now, you could say, are we going to travel this route? There's some merit in running away from that and also being very careful as we adopt that. I'm from Delta State.
Okay.
This whole thing about pardoning people who carry arms, who rebel against the state, started with the Niger Delta militants. That calmed the situation down. It doused the... But some of us warned that this pardon you are extending to these people without the requisite repercussion, retribution, and if you like, punishment, has the tendency of energizing impunity. Because impunity thrives when once an offense is committed and nothing happens, the perpetrators become, bolder and even do worse.
Yeah, like what is happening with the Boko Haram, with the bandits right now. They forgive them and then they're now deadlier. I mean, that's what is just happening right now with all those stuff. Yeah, that's what's happening. And again, it's just the reality.
So once that became the game and the standard, you could see that other rebel groups, other dissidents from other parts of the country, realizing that this is a possibility, helped the game of violence. And one after the other, we could see how we have landed. So Nigeria did the right thing in putting its foot down through the judiciary by showing its resentment, in my words, that this is a country that ought to be regulated by law. And once you step outside the confines of that law, you go in. Now, even if there is a political solution at the end of the day, that would not detract from this established threshold of...
Yeah, and again, that was what I said also, that, yeah, the judge would definitely make the decision based on the evidences and everything that is in front of him. I still disagree with the fact that main terrorists got fewer harsh sentences, but I also think that the right solution would be for the presidency to step in. And some people have said the theory is that the president steps in, forgives Nnamdi Kanu just to show off his support and goodwill among the Southeast people. I don't know how that will work, and I don't know if that's true, but again, it is what it is. That's that with Nnamdi Kanu. We're still gonna, we have to just check now. The queen mother of the Biafra movement, Bianca Odumeju Ojukwu, has spoken. This is what she said. Now, Bianca is one of the top personnel in the Tinubu administration, in Tinubu's administration. Sorry about that. And she's spoken. This is what she has to say. And for those who don't know her, the main Biafra in person, that's Ojukwu himself, who led the 1967 war against the Nigerian government. This is the wife of the late Biafra military personnel, the main person. Now, this is what she has to say. I've just returned from Zanzibar, Tanzania, where I've been for the past 5 days on NTAC monitoring exercise to the sad news of the conviction and sentencing of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on terrorism charges. This is not the outcome we anticipated nor prayed for, but the reality that is now upon us. There comes a time in the history of a people when there's a need for calm. So everybody's saying, be calm. Okay, I therefore advise Indigo and the Nigerian as a whole that such a period is now. There's utmost need to exercise restraint in response to this situation. All action which could be deemed incendiary, sorry, I don't know, I just butchered that, and which might escalate the situation at home or in the diaspora should be curtailed. A word is enough for the wise. Okay. This situation requires careful reflection and constructive dialogue, including all Igbo stakeholders, governors, senators, members of the House of Representatives, clergy, traditional rulers, politicians, and business people to engage with government authorities collectively. Beating the drum of fury and saber rattling will only generate diminishing returns, and in the worst case scenario, yet another wasteland. The most effective path towards resolution of this crisis is dialogue. The quest for mutual coexistence of Indigo in Nigeria with justice, equity, and dignity is a commitment which requires our collective resolve, and maintaining peace and order is essential to ensure the security of all citizens regardless of tribe or creed. I would like to reassure Indigo, Nigerians, and our foreign partners that there are still prospects of resolving this impasse in a manner that reduces national anxiety and societal trauma. I oblige everyone to remain calm and patient. Over the years, I've continued to engage on these issues with several stakeholders. Now is the time for us all in Ala Igbo to put all hands on deck and to have a joint engagement, sincerely, involving all of the southeastern states to seek a political resolution to this matter. Is this Ambassador Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu today? So again, I guess she's calling for calm. She wants to put a political solution. Again, if you're eating from the cookie, you're gonna mind how you talk. So she's got table manners, I guess. She has table manners, right? And then we cannot all reply to the beauty queen because she only verified accounts or account mentioned by Ojukwu Bianca can reply. So that's Ojukwu's wife. You know, again, Tinubu will release Nnamdi Kanu. This is what she said November 24, 2024. Well, we'll see what happens. Tinubu can still release him. I guess there must be some deals made. Everything that is on the mind of Tinubu right now is 2027, and how he's going to consolidate power. And that's why he's just trying to tread carefully with respect to what is happening in the north and all these bandits that, you know, they're taking all over the place. Dialogue has never worked in this country, starting from Aburi Accord. Okay, so that's that about that. I want to move out of, let's see, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. Let me see this one. To marry a traditional man. Okay, let's see this one. To be Igbo itself not a big problem.
Hereby sentence the convict to life imprisonment for the third count 1, 4, 5, and 6.
Anybody committing crime cannot go scot-free. I swear it. They cannot go scot-free. Anybody involved in any type of crime in the East cannot go free.
Okay, so these are people just bringing his password and then, you know, doing stuff. Yeah. Okay. So that's that about that. The video evidence upon which the judge heavily relied on were doctored. I don't think that's true. How can you hire a crop of crowns and not expect to be so this person is bashing Nnamdi Kanu. Tupolo arrest detained the breadwinner of a family in a private cell since July 2024 till date. Australian family members cries and calls for help. Nigeria is just okay. Yeah, we've covered the case where he was moved to Sokoto. And that's that about that. I want to move on from Nigerian stuff. I want to see what's happening. The White House had a visitor this week. Before I go to that one,
I applaud President Trump's recent.
Sorry about that. Kind of messed up here. Let me see what Jonathan wants to say. Jonathan waded into the crisis between Wike and the PDP governors. So let's see what he has to say here.
GCON for coming for this event as a special guest of honor. And let me thank you for your kind words. Let me also appreciate my good friend, His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma, the former President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Let me appreciate Her Excellency Mrs. Miriam Abasha, the former First Lady. Thank you very sincerely for coming to honor us. Let me appreciate His Excellency Dr. Mrs. Patient Jonathan, my dear wife. Thank you for coming.
Quite interesting that Patience Jonathan is now a doctor, and you have the husband also as a doctor. That's quite interesting, though.
Let me appreciate the keynote speaker, His Excellency Dr. Ibn Chambers, who was one time the president of the ECOWAS Commission, and UN at the time. He was the UN rep in the Sahel, my good friend, a member of the West African Elders Forum. Thank you for the brilliant speech and your kind words. Let me appreciate some of the royal fathers that I've seen.
Okay, we're going to appreciate everybody here.
My big members of the private sector here. I wouldn't want to bore you more by calling names.
Yeah, I mean, you've called for almost 3 minutes now. Yeah.
15 election, and I lost the election.
Yeah, you lost.
And I called my challenger, General Buhari then, to congratulate him. A number of people came to me that you are leaving the office. A number of people, when they look at my face, they think I am a young person, but I'm not a young person. They say you are still young, so you need to see what you could do. You need to set up a foundation. A number of people came up with different proposals, different suggestions.
Okay.
And I know and I have to appreciate Tony Elumelu, who came to me and talks about setting up a foundation. I said, I've never been in civil society. I don't know how foundations work. So who do you think can manage the foundation for me? Because I will not be able to manage the foundation myself. He said that he would have recommended one lady and jailed. But that, because she's a Cameroonian American, she will not be able to, probably. But I said, okay, we can still see her. So Angel came to me and we had a conversation. So we decided to start the foundation. And we have quite a number of things that we should do. We are looking at issues of women, we are looking at issues of children, issues of education, issues of poverty alleviation, issues of hunger, and so on.
Okay.
So Tony Elumelu again sent somebody who was managing his foundation at that time. I've forgotten his name, but he's a European, who came to me. And I told him the areas I wanted to focus the foundation. And the man said, I don't think you should go that way. That in Africa, most former presidents set up foundations and put so many things that they want to do. So they became jack of all and master of none.
Yep.
And people hardly know what they do. That when you were in office, there are two areas that people appreciate you so much. The issues of democracy, because you strengthen the Electoral Commission, and that as a city president, you call your challenger even before elections were concluded, and the whole world celebrates you for that. That you can go that area because immediately you announce it, people will believe in you because you have demonstrated it. And you did a lot of public sector reforms while in office. You strengthened a lot of institutions. So you can also go to public sector reforms. So we now change the whole things we wanted to do. And I remember when my childhood friend King Turner came, and I told him, look, this is what we want to do. And he looked through everything, and there was nothing about environment. He told us, how can you? You are from the Niger Delta, the epicenter of environmental challenges. Your academic background is environmental. And you worked as a assistant director of environmental protection for years in Umpateg. It will be difficult for you to have a foundation that will not talk about the environment. I said, well, everybody talks about environment. So I think I should leave the environmental issues to that. That's how we decided to concentrate on issues of democracy and public sector reform. But we have not done anything in terms of public sector reform because for you to go there, the government.
So what have you been doing if you've not done anything based on public sector reforms? A lot of talk. Okay, let's learn what they've been doing, okay? I'm just saying.
Must invite you to go and work there. The only thing close to that was when we worked with international ideas in the Gambia to review their constitution.
Okay.
So we decided to center on issues of democracy and governance. And just like my executive secretary have said it all, Ms. Anne Yono, the media, the documentary, yeah. Also, you heard all. So we are now doing more of the issues of democracy and governance. And we have few products. Though we are doing a number of things, like my executive director did mention, even in the documentary.
Hi, Idris, welcome to the show.
We did something. We can actually do anything we want to do. But the key area is about democracy.
Okay.
And one of the number one products is the West African Elders Forum that we set up. A forum that is made up of former presidents of countries and former presidents of ECOWAS.
Former presidents of country, former presidents of ECOWAS that have destroyed their economy. I don't know. Like, okay, we're talking about former presidents. Look at the countries where they've format, if there's any word like that, into. I mean, look at Nigeria. To be honest with you, all these problems is not just a Tinubu thing. It's a PDP and APC thing put together. And the military also. I'm still trying to figure out what this whole foundation thing is all about. Let's see.
That we believe knows much about the West African sub-region. And this is a preventive diplomacy program. And just like she said, we noticed, even when I was in office, that most of the challenges we have used to manage.
They're just carrying empty heads. That's not nice.
Manage elections. In fact, the Mali is still there. It was just parliamentary election that led to the crisis in Mali, not even presidential election. So we set up the West African Elders Forum so that we go to countries close to their elections and we also go during their elections. The idea, yes, we observe the elections, but we are not co-observers.
I mean, like him or hate him, the only thing that I can say that Jonathan achieved that was really, really monumental was the INEC reforms with Jega. That was the major thing. I mean, maybe one or two other things, but the major thing, because his time also was fraught with a lot of corruption, you know, as it were. All other presidents too. I mean, Buhari's one was even worse. But again, I mean, in terms of elections, in terms of I mean, that was when we started doing this accreditation before you vote, you know, and they've actually worked on it. Hopefully the Beavers and the IRF is up and running right now for 2027, but we'll see what happens.
We go there to make sure that if we notice anything that is coming up negatively, we intervene and try to see what we could do so that those issues will not snowball into crisis. And the condition to be a member of the West African Elders Forum is that you must be a former president within the sub-region and a former...
You must have messed up your country, one way or the other.
Former president of ECOWAS. Because we are not too many, so some vice presidents, like one of the ladies that spoke, the former vice president of the Gambia, also a member. But one clear condition is that you will not longer be an active politician. And that is why I'm disappointed.
Oh my God, Jonathan will not kill us. One of the things I missed from Jonathan was Spacious Jonathan, man. She made us laugh.
Most of my friends, they expect me to play active role in politics. But before I play active role in politics, I will first and foremost resign from the West African Elders Forum before I can play active role in politics.
Fair enough.
But then we do use presidents that are still active, but not as members.
What are you saying, bro? What are you saying?
Of the forum. Okay. I remember during the Nigerian election, last election.
As patrons, right?
We had nobody because Baikoroma would have left the team because I am a Nigerian, so I couldn't lead the team. But Baikoroma was being used by ECOWAS. And we wanted that.
Maybe I'm becoming too biased. Against this guy. Well, man, this guy has spent 9 minutes now, and we still kind of try to understand what the hell this whole foundation thing is all about.
English-speaking person. So we have to bring John Mahama, even though we knew he was still in active politics in Ghana. But we borrowed him, just come and lead this mission.
So what's the essence of all the rules that you've laid down? Now that you still have to bring active politician. Oh God, I don't know, bro.
Go back. You are not yet a member until you finish your political activity. So that's our number one product. The second one, which also was mentioned by the Executive Secretary, was...
I think that rule is just all over the place. I mean, it will be very difficult for you to have former politicians that are not actively involved in politics. We can see even Obasanjo that's torn his PDP card is still actively involved, still always coming out to at least get his name out there. And each time he goes on TV, they always ask him, what about the third term agenda? So it becomes very difficult. I think what he could have done, again, this is an advice to Jonathan, instead of you trying to put out all these rules, they must no longer be involved in politics, they can no longer do something. I mean, bring them, the former people, have your direct cause. But if the person, for example, if I'm actively involved in Ghana's politics, if I'm trying to do something, then it could just be there as an advisor. Again, it is what it is. Okay, let me see this. Bro, I guess you just have to watch it from the beginning. Oh yeah, I watched it from zero. This is a 15-minute stuff. I mean, if I'm watching something for 15 minutes and I'm not, and he himself is just kind of contradicting what he's saying. Yeah, I watched it from the beginning.
Our annual democracy dialogue. We try to look into some areas of the practice of democracy in Africa. Okay. And we get experienced speakers to come and speak on it. This documentary, I expected them to bring some of those species, some parts of those species, but I didn't see any of them. And
this guy is falling my hand. You didn't review the documentary. Again, by the time you look at the country and see where we are, you have to understand the qualities of the leaders that have actually, ruled us.
That's one thing that if we are doing this again, okay, at least you
maybe I'll have to watch the whole thing.
Put it together, but you
maybe I have to watch the whole thing. I mean, not to just be. I guess I'm just being mean here. Sorry.
That completely, which is not because that's the key thing we have been doing. The last one was held in Accra, Ghana.
Okay.
And we think that probably the next one will go to East or Southern African countries, or probably could be done in Nigeria. These are two major programs. But within the country, whenever elections are coming up, we used to hold conferences, discuss with stakeholders, and play a role in suppressing crisis. So
which is fair
on behalf of the foundation.
Which is fair.
Sincerely,
and I think is end that right. Just to put things, in the right perspective, is end that right? Because his election is one of those elections that, once it was defeated, it just called Buhari, and no crisis, no burning of, people or killing of people or unaliving people because he lost the election. So again, I think it's end that right. It's been one of those, at least for that period of electioneering and how he was able to keep the country together after he lost. Yeah, I agree.
All of you for coming. Let me appreciate the Vice President for coming with your team. Appreciate all our guests for coming. In fact, former governors are here, former ministers, former secretary of government. I've even seen some of my bosses from UMPA. They were my directors when I was assistant director. I've seen some of them here. So I have to thank all of you. Dr.
I need to move.
Was my director of project monitoring.
Okay.
From Cross River State. Thank you for coming. My good friends in the National Assembly, I have to thank all of you.
We don't see what they're doing
in the National Assembly. I promise you that we'll continue to do our best. For us,
tell those in the National Assembly that the country is burning. Okay? And they need to act smart. What is this? Peter Obi is the only candidate that talks sense and meaningful plans that could change Nigeria, but he can't achieve that in a corrupt leading country. You don't want to go into that one, no. Peter Obi, okay. 2027. Let's see how that will go.
As a nation, this is a very sad moment. About 25 girls were kidnapped. And it reminds me of what I faced when the Chibok girls were kidnapped when I was in office.
And
in fact, myself and Vice President, he was the governor of Borno State.
And it's laughing.
When the girls were kidnapped, I was the president.
And it's
I
laughing.
know the headache we had. So we really pray that these girls be rescued. We condole with the families of the people who have lost their life, the general, the vice principal of the school, and all the other people that are still in detention. We pray that this country gets out of this situation very soon. It's a sad moment. And for those of us who are in active politics, I still pray that whatever we do affects everybody. And we must play our politics with decorum, with sense of responsibility, not with rascality. Politics is not a business of rascals. Politics is, you are trying to create leaders. You are trying to create leaders. So you must show that you are an extremely responsible person. For you, in fact, when we are in Ghana, the keynote speaker then from our Democracy Day was Bishop Cooker. And he said that if you look at everything in the world, even if it is to make Accra or bonds, I don't know their names, there are people learn before they do it. Even to teach in primary school, you go through a training process. Okay, get certificates before you can even teach in nursery school. But that is only in politics that there's no training.
No, I agree.
Somebody just wake up, is a politician. You don't know where the person is coming from. The next day is your governor. No basic training. And it is a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
We must change the face of politics. We must see politics as a business of responsible individuals, not a business of that they play in the motor park. Once again, let me not go too.
It's even worse than motor park. He doesn't want to go too far. Okay.
Before I say things that I'm not supposed to say.
This guy, see.
So let me, on behalf of the foundation and on behalf of my family, actually today is for the foundation, but all the speakers also appreciated my birthday. And that is the problem the foundation will continue to face. Maybe we have to do something. Because the foundation was launched on my birthday in 2015, when I launched the transition hours. And the proceeds from that book was used to start the foundation.
Okay.
So it now coincides with my birthday. So at the time that...
Man, this guy, I don't even know what to say. But again, yeah, that's good luck, Jonathan. I gotta move on. So this is his foundation. I mean, this is the foundation, to be honest with you. Communicate or GJF, Good Luck Jonathan Foundation, High Level Roundtable. What have they been doing about us? Okay, vision, peaceful, just, and progressive nation of African transparency and accountability, blah, 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 blah. So what have they achieved? 2 million citizens to actively participate in various levels of elections and contribute to violence-free election in Africa. 20,000 African women and youths with livelihood skills and startup pack. Okay, 10,000 contribute to raising 10,000 detribalized and emotionally resilient African children. And this is the video is age restricted and all that. The documentary on the respect, on respect for constitutional terms limits in West Africa. The question of tenure elongation has moved from the fear of normal devolution of power to the transitional context. It has become the mainstay of the recent military political transition in West Africa. So there were coups in Mali in 2020, Guinea in 2021, Burkina Faso in 2022. Again, yari, let me see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I wish them well. 10 years. Yeah, another 10 years to them. But it is what it is. It's just, yeah, that is it. Okay. I'm going to move on. Something happened in the United States this week. The Saudi prince came to the White House. I just want to cover that. And there's also a controversy that covers the Saudi prince, which is the killing of the journalist that was investigating the kingdom. At the time, a lot of back and forth, and Trump was not even having it with some of the reporters. So this is it, the White House and the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, in the White House, United States of America. Okay, I'm gonna just move it on. Okay. Okay, that's Trump coming out. Yeah. Okay, let's go. American president always has his swags. The best to same sentence because they sold all their Nigerians to the foreign before they left. Wow. Okay. So that's the prince. That's the guy in charge of Saudi Arabia today. So I think you have some military demonstration happening over there. Yeah, that's fine. Man, really crazy. Yeah, I agree. World politics is crazy. The more you look, the less you see. Yeah, I agree with you. Man, money talks and BS walks. Okay, so this is the vice president. This is the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Yeah, who else? This is the Treasury Secretary. Yeah, and then you have the Saudi delegates. Okay. Yeah, that's about that. Let's see. Let's move on. Okay, they're just moving. I'm gonna be skipping and being watching.
What's that?
As it likes. Let's see. Let's move on. Okay, what is this? Yeah. So again, all the normal ceremony. Yeah, I'll move on. Okay, so this is the two of them in the White House, showing him through these are pictures of the past presidents. That's the first person. I think that's Washington. I don't know. I mean, don't let me misyan, but again, it's what it is. Oh, that's Jessica. Jessica is blocking the camera. They have to call her out. Like, you don't block the camera, bro. We're here to see the crown prince and not Jessica. I think Trump did some construction work recently, some renovation within, and he's also building a ballroom outside of the adjacent the White House, I would say. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Let me see. I just want to move on to where we have the press conference. That was where it got heated a little bit. Okay. I don't know who is this. This is when we need all those people that read lips, right? To have a peep into what they're talking about. This is JFK, right? Okay. Wow. Do you see what Trump did here? So apparently Trump was the president 2015. He got in 2016, early 2016 to 2020. Right? And you can see him here. Then you have another president, which should be Joe Biden. Look at what he did. He took out Joe Biden's picture and put an auto pen. Put an auto pen as the president between when Joe Biden took over from him and when he took over from Joe Biden. That's crazy. Okay, so that's the Vice President and Secretary of State. This is Scott Besek, and then this is what's this called? This guy's name, Marco Rubio. This is this one. I don't know. Is Treasury, right? This is Treasury, right? I don't even know. I don't know who this guy is. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now we're back there. Okay, yeah. So it's about to go down. Oh yeah, CNN made a whole lot of stuff on that image for Joe Biden. It's crazy. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We have a extremely respected man
Let me increase the volume
in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time, a very good friend of mine. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the Crown Prince.
Human rights. Saudi Prince and human rights. We'll see how that goes, bro.
The future king. And I just want to pay my greatest respect to your father, King, who is an amazing man. I met him early on. He greeted me at the airport at an age that was pretty high up there, and it was about 117 degrees, and he was standing on the red carpet as I came out of the plane, and he's amazing. And when I met his brilliant son, it was at the Oval Office. Shortly thereafter, you came in representing the country, and I called the father. I said, this guy is fantastic. And I don't know if that helped you or hurt you, but obviously it couldn't have hurt too much. Because here you are, right? So we had a great meeting, and the office has changed quite a bit.
Yeah,
and we inherited a mess. You actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half, 2 years ago. But our country was in trouble, and now we have the hottest country in the world. You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody can believe. $21 trillion will be the amount invested in the United States or committed to invest in 1 year. So I'm here 9 months. We're up to almost $18 trillion. Biden, as an example, the Biden administration, if you call it that, it's not, to me, it was the Biden lack of administration. They were less than 1 trillion.
What the hell? Let me reduce that. The Biden lack of administration.
For 4 years. We're going to be 21 trillion for 1 year.
Okay.
I think that's hard to believe. The biggest in history was a certain country, 3 trillion. We're going to be 21 trillion. On top of that, prices are coming down. We inherited a mess with high prices, the worst inflation in the history of our country. We had inflation that was a single 4 years, the worst inflation in the history of the United States.
Yeah, but what on the street in the United States right now is that the economy is not looking good. People are losing their jobs. Houses are not being sold when it should be. Inflation is still like people are still not being able to afford stuff. 40-something million Americans are on food stamp as we speak. And that was what happened when you saw the shutdown happen just a few weeks ago. Just last week, they had the, the country went for more than 30 days of shutdown. Okay, so things also, it's putting out all those numbers, but I'm saying things on the ground are not looking as rosy as he's saying. If Trump doesn't take swipe at Biden in his speech, it can be Trump speaking. Every opportunity, man. They are real enemies, right? Because Biden also tried to throw him in jail. Biden tried to ruin his life. So again, it's a band for band, I would say.
Gas prices through the roof, and that's after destroying our petroleum reserve, which was meant for wars and big emergencies, not to try and win an election.
Yeah, I agree.
They opened up the reserve so that people
Biden
get
took from the reserves a lot
less in gasoline.
Yeah,
and it didn't work. They got about 3 cents less, because as big as those reserves are, they're peanuts when you're talking about that kind of traffic. And we're rebuilding the reserves. We're doing all of this, and we've done a job. We're also bringing down prices very substantially, and we've already brought them down very, very substantially. Gasoline is way down. I think you'll be seeing $2 gasoline, but we're now at $2.50, $2.45. Some are lower than that. It was $4.50, $5, $6, $3.50, $3.75. Under Biden, all different numbers, but way high.
Yeah, politicians will always lie,
way
right?
Down.
Yeah, they sell you the dream.
Thing to me, because I know what it means in jobs, is the fact that we're at over $17 trillion, Scott, and we expect to be around $21 trillion in 1 year. And that's many times bigger than in history. The highest number was $3 trillion. And we're going to be at 21 trillion. That means new plants, new AI, new auto plants. We have auto plants coming in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
From Japan.
Yeah, they pay themselves good.
Toyota just agreed to invest $10 billion on new auto plants, all American workers. We've never been in a position like this. You can go back to the beginning. Our country has never been
the
in
African
a position
nightmare.
like this.
Yeah.
And it really is because of the fact that we use tariffs to bring all this money in. And you're going to see the results in a year when these plants start to open up. We have more plants under construction now than at any time in the history of our country. And these are big plants. These are the biggest plants anywhere in the world.
Okay.
And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion into the United States. And because he's my friend, he might make it $1 trillion, but I'm going to have to work on him. But
I mean, he's fighting for his country in the way he best can. I mean, you cannot deny that. Now, again, he might have all his other qualities that people don't really love. Like him or hate him, he tries to be like, America first. I wish other leaders can also do the same for their countries.
600, we can count on 600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher, yes, sir. I don't know. We'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs.
Yeah, they said he would have made a good sales car man.
I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nobody else could have done that. No other president would have done it.
No other
We had
president.
the pilots in the Oval Office right here. We were
No other
celebrating a very
president could have
successful
done
attack.
it.
So I had them in with that beautiful B-2 bomber that's over there. And they said, sir, for 22 years, we practiced this attack. Our predecessors, these were very young guys, so 22 years, they said our predecessors and us practiced the attack on Iran, but no president ever gave us the go-ahead. 3 times a year they went out and they practiced the attack. Nobody let us do it until you came along, and I let them do it because it was the right thing to do. You can't have a nuclear Iran. And so we put you in a very good position. But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This relation has been a relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together for a long time. But today it's a very important time in our history because there is also a lot of things that we're working in the future. We believe in the future of the United States of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President, really creating a lot of good things and good foundation to create more economic growth, more business in America. And it will also your work for the world.
I mean, Biden couldn't even get this guy to pick his phone calls. I remember Trevor Noah was making a joke about that. Biden, he wasn't even picking Biden's phone call. That was how bad the relationship between Saudi and US got when Biden was in office. And now he's not only picking Trump's call, he's even coming to the White House.
Peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that.
Whoa.
I like that very much.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Money talks.
I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in
possibly
the US,
I will look at that
Definitely.
stuff.
You don't want to lose money. As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in the United States of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades. Preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies. That's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And this, you don't see what we're doing so much because we have, although the construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else, the numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable. Some of the plants that we're building, AI, and they're building their own electric with the plant. I gave them the right to build their own electric with the plant because no country, frankly, will have this. China's working very hard to produce enough electric, but we're beating China substantially at AI, which is a big thing. And we had a great meeting 2 weeks ago with President Xi, but on AI, we're doing well. And I have a...
Again, that's it, right? Just before I continue playing that, look at this. This is what I was talking about.
Wait, man. There's no denying that Saudi Arabia isn't playing ball with Joe Biden. And you know what? You can say what you want, but this would have never happened to Donald Trump. Never.
So they were not picking his phone call.
No one was ever ignoring Donald Trump's calls. Yeah, because if you ignored Donald Trump's calls, you didn't know how he would respond. Maybe he'd send an angry tweet, or maybe he'd just ban your country from everything. You don't know. That's why I bet in these situations, Biden actually wishes that he could hire Trump to step in as President Wildcard. Just keep everyone on their toes. Because if Trump was calling, you best believe the UAE, they'll be racing to pick up the phone. Oh, Mr. Trump, we're here, hello.
Anyways,
either way, man.
I just wanted to put that
There's no denying that.
So again, that's it. Biden stuff, I don't know, man. Not a good relationship with Saudi when he was president.
Man, David Rommel.
Yes, sir.
David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front and all of the some of the assets, and also how we've been helped by the Saudis in terms of the kind of investment they've made, please.
Yeah, most certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am a facility leader for GE Renova.
And if you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs here stateside.
Wow.
We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabia needs.
Right.
So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova as we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're
very
partnering with local
unpredictable.
communities to build the skill set
unpredictable, man.
that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
Well, you've been great, and thank you very much. And we love that state. I won that state by record numbers. I won a lot of states by record. Texas, a lot of them by Indiana. We're working with Indiana or something right now. We won that. We won a lot of them by records, but that was one of them. I want to thank you very much. Say hello to everybody. Great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you. So just in wrapping up, we'll take a couple of questions, but I want to just tell you what an honor it is to be your friend. And I very much appreciate the investment of now $1 trillion, okay? I'm glad you got that out. I didn't want to be the one to tell them, but that's great news.
We keep increasing, Mr. President.
I know.
Each time the opportunities are just increasing more and more.
Well, the opportunities, right? We're doing better. If even if you look back 6 months ago, I mean, now all of a sudden you feel even better. So, and I think we're only going to go in one way. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. President, have you approved the export licenses for advanced chips to Saudi Arabia? The export licenses?
We are working on that. We're negotiating that right now. Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Well, I mean, that's part of what we may have announcements on that later today. But that's what we've been working on is the mechanics by which something like that could be achieved. And it's part of the broader process, part of this broader engagement and cooperation between our two countries.
Certain levels of chips. Yeah.
For the Crown Prince, Your Royal Highness, you're talking about $1 trillion of investment. Could the kingdom continue to do that with oil prices in the mid-60s?
Yeah, we are not creating fake opportunities to, please America, please President Trump. It's real opportunities. For example, when you ask about the AI and the chips, Saudi Arabia have a huge demand a huge need of computing power, and we're going to spend in the short term around $50 billion by consuming those semiconductors for our needs in Saudi Arabia. And with the agreement that we're going to have with South America, that will allow us to
Marco Rubio,
force that consuming power
Secretary of State.
in short term by $50 billion from South America, and long term with hundreds of billion dollars in the long term. So there's a lot of real opportunities that fit to our need in Saudi Arabia and fit to our investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you?
ABC.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question. I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's okay, just you ask, Mr. President, you allow me to answer. I feel painful about, the families of
So the guy that
9/11.
So the guy they're talking about is Khashoggi. He was killed in Saudi embassy in Turkey a few years ago. And there were rumors that he was actually working on some investigative work that went right to the family of the prince and implicated the prince himself and the family of the prince and the royal family. And then there was an order to take him out. So he went to Turkey, I believe, yeah, and then went to the to the embassy, the Saudi's embassy, because he was working on his papers and all of those. And between the time he went into the embassy to the time he actually didn't make it out of that embassy alive. Yeah, so he was killed. So there's been a lot of call, especially given that the guy, Khashoggi, was actually working with the Washington Post, which happens to be a paper that is owned by Jeff Bezos. And then there was also the rivalry between Jeff Bezos then and Trump, you understand? And all of those, I mean, it was just complicated and complex. So since then, they've always been asking the USA to sanction this guy. But Trump said he was not going to sanction him because Saudi is a very strong ally of the United States in the Middle East. And if we don't sell weapons to them, then Saudi Arabia, we turn to Russia or, other countries. And Trump would not want that to happen. So again, I mean, they did their own investigation. The Saudi kingdom did their investigation and felt like, they had some lapses, but then that this guy was not involved. I mean, that's the official narrative. So again,
America,
just to put context
we
to that.
have to focus on reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents.
Exactly. Saudi is a democracy and it's not, it's a monarchy. It's not a democracy, it's a monarchy. And so, that's it.
That Osama bin Laden used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to approve him wrong and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation. It's critical in the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or nothing illegal way. And it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc. in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that. And it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria.
And I believe in leadership.
Will there be any joint investment between the U.S.
You're talking about Saudi or U.S.?
Visit Damascus?
Are you from Syria?
No, but
where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, you're making a lot of progress.
Wahhabism, yeah.
Very good. Well, they like it.
Yeah, Trump is great, yeah.
The Palestinians are doing
Expunge
very well, actually. I think
Wahhabism.
we're working very closely with a lot of people
Okay.
to make everybody happy, including Israel,
Oh, yeah,
the
Saudi, yeah.
Palestinians,
Yeah,
and
yeah, they-
everybody. It's very interesting.
I mean, they're not doing
no, I
badly.
think that I will tell you, the Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here, and we had a great meeting.
Yeah.
And he's a strong guy, and I guess you need a strong person to run it. And I think Syria's made tremendous progress. We did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince. Also, the president of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically. He said, if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance. And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel. And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the
what is she talking
plight of the
about, bro?
Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
There are relocation flights that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not
a
going to
seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going, so I won't refer to anything having to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35 and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah. You know,
How will that
this
affect-
is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
Can I just quickly ask for the Crown Prince, if I could just ask about the direct talks between U.S.
It's all right. Steve, one
The
second.
UN is broken.
Have you reached an agreement on a U.S.
UN seems to be breaking right
treaty
now.
today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your discussion?
I already brought them up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive
Hi.
response. Would you like to respond?
Welcome to the show.
Yes.
So definitely we believe having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries it's a good thing, and we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region, and we will do our best.
Yeah, I mean, all of these wars, all of these problems happening around the world, UN has not really been doing that much, Again, I don't know, but they've just been all over, and they're making a lot of money, right? Most of the monies are not even going to people that need it. It's just going through their leadership and all those other stuff. But again, it's quite sad. They don't even prevent anything, right?
To reach that day.
And the defense agreement,
And the same with WHO, UN, WHO, zero.
have you reached agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
Question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that. Okay.
I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that, and are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
Well, we are close ally. We'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the United States of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the United States of America. So we will do our best to see that.
Yeah, thanks.
And by the way, Iran does want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it, and we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it before the war, but...
Yeah, I also learned that China has really infiltrated into the UN. So again, maybe that's one of the things that, is impacting. And I don't know where that, I don't want to just kind of conclude if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just like a lot of dynamics, like world politics is crazy. So again, the tussle for the top spot is also getting much more crazier by the day. You could see when Trump spoke about Nigeria, China came to say, China came to say that, you know what, the US should not get himself involved in Nigeria issues, right? So again, there's always that. And there are also reports saying that, China is also involved in the north, a lot of stuff in the north, a lot of minerals and all of that. So again, it is what it is. See the way they are talking calmly. I wish Wiki can talk calmly like that. Wiki is a thug. Wiki doesn't send anybody's father. I don't know, man. I just wish, even outside of the talk, I just wish that, we can get to a level as Nigerian and operate at the same level. Like, look at what this guy said at the beginning of his talk. He was talking about how they're building $50 billion infrastructure, you know, just for AI. Just for AI. And one of the meetings they had, I mean, you saw Elon Musk, this guy, Jason of NVIDIA, and all these other guys talking about how they're going to shape the future. Now, again, there's a lot of concerns with AI and all of those, but again, you could see the level of discussion. The world is moving out from oil to, you know, alternative energy. Not that oil is going to be obsolete. No, oil is still very important and a fundamental part of our daily lives. But again, it's which is a detailed explanation of money misroad. Yeah, I wish. And again, I don't even know if I don't think Tinubu would want to visit, you know, the White House. I just wish that we can put all these killings and all this insurgency behind Nigeria, and not to just also, you know, no, you can't retrain Wiki. No, that guy is you know, I lost my chain of thought there. I was just thinking that, I mean, given some of the economic reforms, you know, the subsidy removal, which was brutal and very painful, there's been some level of stability, you know, if you look at the foreign exchange and all those other stuff that is really happening in Nigeria now. But the security issue is kind of like an encumbrance. It's kind of covering whatever thing is happening. And even all of these changes, all of this economic stuff has not really made it, you know, even to the common man. So the common man is still facing the economic brunt of years or decades of misrule and mismanagement of resources. And that's how bad it is. Again, you can talk, because in some of these discussions, you need to have some good level of, you know, governance, leadership, infrastructure, and all that before you could even, you know, be taken serious on the global stage.
That didn't work out, and something will happen there, I think. But they would very much like, I mean, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
Mr. President, you announced that you are going to sell 35 F-35 jets. You are planning, you said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States? And the question was...
Well, no, I just said it, though. I mean, we're going to sell them F-35s. That's the end of the question, I guess.
Is it part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best offensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. For his Royal Highness.
I don't know the question this guy is asking about F-35. I mean, yeah, I know they don't want to sell F-35 to Saudi. Well, it is what it is. To weaken his children will. I mean, he's giving his children lands in Abuja, allocating lands to them. So again, they will be.
I would like to ask you about how you see the cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field, especially AI, and how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goals to achieve the vision of 2030.
Well, I will try to answer that in short, but definitely there's a lot of interest in many industries between Saudi Arabia and America, and we are signing a lot of agreements in different areas that will really add value to American economy, but also to add value to us in Saudi Arabia. And AI, it's critical for us because one of the long-term problems that we could have is lack of workforce. As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global immigration to Saudi Arabia. So we know that to assure the Saudi Arabia GDP growing with the lack of workforce that we have, we need to use a lot of computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to American private sectors and getting the supply from America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we're leading by a lot on AI. Actually a lot. China would be in second place, but we're leading by a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
And I have to say this,
well, they have to use technology to fight whatever is happening with Nigeria.
Buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up, it would be good. Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
President Trump, sorry, please. If I may, I have a question for both the Crown Prince and
Who are you?
Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia. Your Excellency.
It should be a friendly question.
Your Royal Highness.
The journalists from Saudi better ask the best question because you know, they don't operate democracy. You can't just talk anyhow to your prince and get back home and you won't be Khashoggi if there's anything like that.
Just picking up on something you've just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps...
yeah, exactly. So it has to be like they have to get something. You know, they're not going to help Nigeria if they're not going to get anything from it. And again, there's always this talk about the US is coming in to take over our resources. And what I tell people is that for those that are in Nigeria already, I mean, how has the resources even benefited anybody? Yeah, the Saudi journalists, yeah, so that his head won't be on the chopping block. Yeah, China is benefiting a lot from Nigeria. I mean, a lot of agricultural agreements, a lot of infrastructural, bilateral stuff. And I'm also thinking, now I might be wrong on this one, but I'm also thinking that one of the reasons why America is also going hard on Tinubu is that Tinubu is causing up a lot to the Chinese government. It's been a lot of agreement, and it's not something of 2023 or 2024. That has happened before. Well, even when he was governor of Lagos, all this LCC, you know, LCC is more of a Chinese and Lagos State agreement stuff. What else also? Now, a lot of all those stuffs, you know, has a lot of Chinese hand in it. So I think that it's possible. I don't know. There's also plausible deniability. Yeah, F-35 is the most lethal, survivable, and connected fighter aircraft in the world, if I'm right. Yeah, I think this is one of the top echelons of military fighter jets. Yeah, but again, I mean, they won't definitely be selling them their most recent technology, right? I'm just thinking.
You know, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading, and what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for our military, for many things. And it has been there for 9 decades. And the opportunities that we have today, it's huge. And it seems that it's going to get deeper in the next few decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with President Trump, it's really a huge new chapter in this relation that will add value to both of us.
You know, when you think about it, I'm just sitting here. You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody, a man that doesn't have to be doing this, really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions, we didn't say, oh, you can't talk about this. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country, but there's never been, in our country, that's been acknowledged. But we didn't put restrictions, and I'm saying it's sort of wonderful to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here. This is just a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media that are outside that are very jealous that these people were so selected. But
yeah, again, talking about that, yeah, I just asked which one is more advanced. So the B2, right? Yeah. So let's look at that. The B2, Spirit, often called B2 bombers, and the F-35 Lightning II are both iconic U.S. stealth aircraft, but they serve fundamentally different roles. The B2 is a heavy strategic bomber designed for long range, high payload penetration of enemy defenses, while the F-35 is a multi-role fighter optimized for versatility, network-centric warfare, and tactical strike. Comparing which is more advanced is subjective and depends on the metric. Technology recency, stealth purity, and all of those technical jargons. Yeah, so I think they are both, but the B2 kind of sounds to be top tier too. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
they're representing a lot of people that are outside. I think it's terrific that we can be sitting here being this open and you know, I think it's really a wonderful thing.
If you don't mind, I have a personal question for you. Mr.
Okay, here we go. I should have said that.
So apart from everything you mentioned in your opening remarks, you forgot to mention that you've de-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least in our part of the world, you are seen as a peacemaker. And adding that to all the executive orders and everything else you've mentioned, I really have to wonder, you, in your speech in Saudi Arabia, I was there, you said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi Arabia, how do you manage your own time? And what's your formula for management?
He does not sleep much, and I don't sleep much. I think we have the same schedule. We're thinking about our countries. And if you sleep a lot and you're president, we just had one that slept more than any president. He broke every record. He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. The only guy could fall asleep on the beach with the press watching. No, he's not a sleeper. I'm not a sleeper. We don't. We talk at night. We can talk. I can call him almost any time. He goes, hi, how you doing? It's like at craziest times. But now, when you love your job, when you love your country, and when you're in a position like we are, future king, highly respected, crown prince, and in my case, president, you're thinking about your country. You're thinking about making America great again. We're thinking about keeping Saudi Arabia strong and vital and in a pretty tough part of the world, tricky part, right? Tricky part, a lot of tricky people.
It's over for Biden slept more than he worked. Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to sleep.
President Trump, do you expect a formal civil nuclear deal to be reached soon? Can you talk to us about that aspect of today's with Saudi Arabia?
I can see that happening. Yeah.
Do you think that an agreement will happen today?
It's not urgent. You know, it's always when you have civil nuclear, but you have more oil than almost anybody else.
Joe Biden.
We actually have more oil and gas than they do, but I refuse to say that.
And
we have.
Sorry,
more than, is it? We have more than anybody. Can you imagine?
And on the F-35, are those sales? Israel had reportedly wanted those sales to be conditioned on Saudi Arabia moving to normalized relations.
Israel will be happy. Israel is going to be happy.
Condition of the F-35
Israel's aware, and they're going to be very happy. Okay? Yeah, please. Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Aman Hazani from Sharq al-Awsat newspaper, from Riyadh, of course. I have a question for the Crown Prince and for you, Mr. President. Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, how much you expected from developing the cooperation with the United States in the field of new energy, AI, supply chain? How much you expected from that?
No limit. We just continue pushing forward. There's no limit. So we just push forward for all the opportunities that we have.
Fair enough.
You have to understand, this is really a great ally. Just the fact that they're now doing, I came in here at 6, I did not know that. I was pushing for the 1 trillion, but he didn't tell me that. Now he told me. This is a great ally of ours. You know, when you invest $1 trillion, that's national security for us too, because it creates jobs, it creates a lot of things. And I would say, Scott, right? When you hear one country is putting $1 trillion into the United States, that creates national security. And, you know, I think that they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of that is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that, creates a lot of power for the United States.
We are also in Saudi Arabia very happy because this much of Saudi money is
man gets active when he wakes up and remember land for sale. Is that wicked, right?
As for benefits, so it's complementary interest. So this is the I think what's different the friends and ally do.
Well, look, I love the country of Saudi Arabia. I know the people very well. The level of treatment that we go when we go to Saudi Arabia is something that is incredible. And the people like us, and I think they really like America, especially when I'm president. I mean, I don't think they liked America so much maybe for 4 years recently. I think Obama treated Saudi Arabia very, very badly, as you know.
All this shading of past leaders, I don't understand.
Didn't have any idea where the hell he was.
What?
I don't think Biden knew the difference.
What?
The future relationship with Saudi Arabia. I mean, from the strategic aspects, would you describe that?
Say the relationship is with?
Yeah, a little bit of economic.
I would say
politics,
top of the
and
line.
then-
It's as good as it can. I don't think it can get much better. We have, look, we have a country that trusts us, and that's why they make that investment. If they didn't trust us, they couldn't make that investment. And we trust them. They've been very reliable. Now we are. I rebuilt our military in my first term, and we spent trillions of dollars, and we gave away some of it in Afghanistan stupidly because we had stupid people running our country. But we gave away. But that's as much as it was. It's a tiny fraction of what we put here, and we're bringing our military to a new level, the highest level ever.
They're political enemies,
those
right?
plans are going out. And again, it's all American jobs and everything, so it's good for a lot of reasons. But as far as Saudi is concerned, no, I don't think our relationship could be.
And Nigeria as a country is not even corrupted like other countries. Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on the metrics you're looking at. You know, it depends on also what you're trying to portray. Because, I mean, there are certain basic stuff, you know, that when you go to some of these other countries, at least it's basic. Like you've got lights, you've got some level of security, and all of those. The problem is that we also don't have, we also don't even have basic, you know, foundation. Okay, like if you talk about the Nigerian country, maybe when the country was established, when we had independence, you have, you know, some set of leaders. But again, successive leaders after the coup, the military leaders, a lot of them, there was no vision, you know, set for the country. You know, while Dubai was trying to build, you know, was trying to ensure that they become one of the best destinations in the world. I mean, we were just moving from one coup to another, from one, you know, issues to another. So again, it becomes very difficult because we don't even have that foundation. And that's the problem. Yeah, our leaders are, I mean, I just feel like our leaders hate us, right? Like we have leaders that you just think that they deliberately hate us. And that's the problem.
Better. I don't think they had a great relationship under Biden, and I don't think they had a great relationship under Obama. But they have a great relationship under Trump. When we did the presidential Walk of Fame, you saw that, right? And we're walking, and I asked the Crown Prince, so outside of Trump, because I blow everyone away, who was the best president?
Yeah, true.
For Saudi Arabia? And you could maybe, it's an interesting answer. I don't know.
Roosevelt, who started it, which is a Democrat.
Yeah, fair point.
And Reagan, he's one of the historical presidents that have close ties with Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
But we've worked with all presidents.
Does Trump blow them all away?
No, it's another league, Mr. President.
These guys are just politicians.
Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand. When remember Biden? He travels for 20 hours, gets out, and he gives a fist bump. No. When you get out of the plane and you got the future king and the man who's one of the most respected people in the world, you shake his hand. You don't give him a fist bump, right? We don't want to ask you about that, but I can't imagine you were thrilled.
Can you imagine how he's shading
Biden
Biden here? That's crazy.
He's a fantastic guy. You don't do that. Yeah, please.
Okay.
We're getting closer to the end of the year. Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
I think I already know my choice.
Who is it?
Well, I liked him, but he's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
Much better, sir.
So we are talking to various people. And I mean, frankly, I'd love to get the guy currently in there out right now. But people are holding me back. He's done a terrible job, hurting housing a little bit.
Yeah. Talking about housing in the United States is really bad. Like housing, people are listing their houses and nobody's even buying. That's how bad the state of the real estate market is in America right now. And basically, even Canada too. It's just crazy. And the problem the US has is that our interest rate is still crazily high. I mean, Biden printed a lot of money, Trump also printed a lot of money during the COVID years. So you had that coupled with low interest rates. There was a bubble in the real estate market. So that is what, everybody's paying for right now with respect to higher interest rates. And then we'll see what will happen. But the Fed chairman has refused to, reduce the interest rate. And that was what caused a big problem between him and Trump. It is what it is. But it's really hurting the housing market, and even the job market seems to be very weak as we speak.
We've been so successful, we've blown past his interest rate stupidity. He's been wrong. That's why I call him too late. He's too late. Jerome Too Late Powell. He was recommended to me by a guy that made a bad choice, and it's too bad. But despite that, it's having very little impact because we have all of these things happening. But it has an impact on housing to a certain extent. He's a fool. He's a stupid man. But we have some very good people.
Yes, sir. You'll be sitting down with them in the near future, and
we have some surprising names, and we have some standard names that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, Biden was an hustler, right? Biden was a politician all his life. I'm not sure he had a job outside of politics. And that was why it was interesting when he said he was going to change the country and help the country. Like, dude has been in the country for how many years? Has been wrong on almost everything. Wrote the crime bill, although the Republicans supported the crime bill, the 1994 crime bill that put a lot of black men in jail in the United States of America. Has some kind of form of racist attitude, when he talks to black at times. But again, it is what it is. The black community voted for Biden. But again, that's just the reality.
And we may go the standard way. It's nice to every once in a while go politically correct. But we have some great names. Steve, please.
Have you talked to President Maduro of Venezuela yet? Or are you still?
Oh, here we go, Venezuela.
He wants to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm open to talk. I talk to everybody. But no, he wants to. They treated us very badly. They sent all of their prison population into the United States, and we're getting them out rapidly.
Yeah.
But he sent all of his, and he sends drugs into the United States and other things. No, he treated us badly. He was dealing with a bad president, and he was able to get away. We have now, I think we have the.
Man, that was a very long press conference. Trump talks a lot, bro. Almost 1 hour, 4 minutes. We're almost done with this, and once I'm done with that, I'll be just calling it. I'll be putting a lead on it for today. I mean, Trump doesn't sleep, but I need to sleep at times, right?
Strongest borders anywhere in the world. Nobody's coming in unless they come in legally. We're taking very weak borders where millions of people came in. For the last 6 months, I mean, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good?
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
Epstein.
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych.
He's a smooth talker. He has, and again, he's been able to deal with the press and all of that. I mean, this guy was a celebrity before he became president, and was always in the news. At times, also does his own stuff to the extreme. So I kind of understand where he goes back and forth with all these reporters, because I mean, I had a show that was The Apprentice, right? Was a very highly rated show when he was doing it, right? So again, it's kind of built for for the screen, for the cameras and all of those. I mean, a showbiz man too, right?
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people.
I don't know if I'm going to go into the Epstein case tomorrow, because this was the strategy of the Democrats to kind of, rubbish Trump. Now, again, Trump had a relationship with Epstein, years back, and that relationship ended at some point when he banned him from coming into his Mar-a-Lago residence. And again, this case with Epstein has always been there. The Democrats have never cared about it until recently, when they kind of made it into a campaign issue and a strategy issue for them. I don't know who advised them. Now the thing is actually backfiring badly on the Democrats with respect to the releases that we've seen. The number one, I would say the number one Democrat in Congress now has his face in shame, given that he actually had exchanges. Their strategies has also had to, step down from the strategy work he's doing towards 2029 for the Democrat Party. Then there's been a lot of other things coming out that are mostly tied to the Democrats. So I don't know how that strategy worked for them with respect to Jeffrey Epstein. And again, that's Democrats for you. I mean, they stir up issues, they stir up cases, and then when you get to the bottom of the whole thing, you discover that they were actually the one more guilty. The same thing with the Russia collusion that they wanted to aid to take Trump on. Later, we got to know that it was actually Hillary Clinton that actually paid a British investigator or a British journalist to write an op-ed or a dossier against Trump. There was actually Hillary Clinton that was actually conniving with the Russians while they were trying to get Trump and even impeach Trump on Russia collusion. Again, it's just what it is, right? At times it's just all over the place. Now, that also when the first 2 years of Trump was almost under siege, because it was investigation upon investigation upon investigation. And there's a montage, that is always there out there. If you go online, just type "the walls are closing in." Almost every day, the walls are closing in on Trump. That was what these reporters were saying until after the whole investigation, they brought in Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller said, well, he didn't see any evidence of collusion. Still, they wouldn't leave Trump. Then they eventually tried to impeach him, and they impeached him, although they were not successful in, getting a conviction at the Senate for the Ukraine stuff. It was later we got to know that actually the Democrats were also involved in Ukraine. A lot of these wars that you're seeing today happening in Ukraine is not just a Russia-Ukraine thing. It's also the corruption that, you have the Democrats involved in. They were involved in the oil industry in Ukraine and a lot of messed up stuff in Ukraine. So again, it is what it is. I can't wait to finish this interview so that I can call it a day.
You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a
Democrat it's very
hoax
sensitive,
to try
right?
and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax, and ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC.
What? No,
because
you can't do that. Again, you can't do that. I mean, under free speech, you cannot take the license away, bro. What are you talking about, Trump?
So fake.
Yeah,
so
politics
wrong.
is war.
And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible.
Whoa.
And you're not credible as a reporter. So
Whoa,
I've answered your
bro.
question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name? Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money.
Reid Hoffman is the founder of LinkedIn, right? Yeah.
In the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Yeah, I think it sued them. I think it sued a lot of them based on their coverage and the bias coverage. You saw how 60 Minutes also tried to edit Kamala Harris' interview, and that one is sued. It sued them also for that one. I mean, yeah, there's always that programming, there's always that bias. You know, most of these people are not journalists, they're activists actually, and they already have an ideology, so they tend to do that. And again, it's fair if you look at it also, because you also have Fox News. Fox News is, I mean, it's not fair, but I mean, it's what it is, okay? You have Fox News also, who kind of, you know, they tilt to the right, they're just skewed to the right, and then you have ABC, you have CNN kind of skewed to the left, although CNN now is trying to come to the center, but I doubt if that will work. Yeah, but it is what it is.
I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia giving for Gaza reconstruction?
Well, we are in discussion about that. Still, there is no amount being
It'll be a lot.
named, but
It'll
we
be a lot.
will definitely help.
Yeah, he's gonna. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up, the International Security Force, given your pledge there would be no U.S. boots on the ground, what is the U.S. role going to be in that? And how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to statehood?
Look, I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians, and we know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. Right. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, for somebody from the outside, the Oval Office, it's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people. They walk into this office. It's special, isn't it? Look at him. He's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office. It's the Oval Office. And we've done a lot of good with this office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. A
lot of goods. Well, those before you also did a lot of bad. Like all of the commotions, the wars all around the world. I mean, the U.S. also is complicit in some of those things, right? Yeah, ground news would help. Yeah, alternative media is what is actually now, you know, at vogue. At least you have X. It's just that X is just one kind of cesspool also with a lot of extreme individuals there. The fight on X is always crazy. But yeah, it is. You have all this biased news network. I think that's also, I mean, the same thing also happens with Nigeria, where TVC is kind of pro-Tinubu, Arise TV is kind of anti-Tinubu, right? So again, I think that's the model. And News Central now, I don't know who those ones are supportive of, but again.
Appreciated your question before, but I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought. But we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list. You know the list better than I do. I'm very proud. And I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. You know, there was one that was ready to start, and they're doing very well. So and it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether by they came in. Many of these leaders have come in, and you know they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world, like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval Office is in the kind of condition that it should be.
Yeah, very composed.
Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything
Lambert
down the
Bowden.
road. We're fixing the White House, and we're building one of the greatest ballrooms ever to be built. You know, we have an event tonight, and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because in your honor, we're having a dinner tonight, a beautiful dinner tonight, and we have a very small room, right? It's called the East Room, and it's beautiful. It's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They've wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do? Before I leave office, we'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's you know, it's a very popular thing what we're doing. And by the way, no government funds. It's all put up private money, all private money. And in the case, I think it's there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check, okay? But there's a restriction. These are all private individuals that put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really a nice thing. But I look forward to it. I just pointed it out. If this would be a perfect night to have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now, we have a lot of unhappy people because they all want to be with us tonight to honor this great man. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, so that's that about that. Yeah, what's the question? Please, I have a question. Yeah. Oh, so that's that about that. I mean, yeah. So that was the main highlight of the day. We had, yeah, the Saudi prince and all that, and all of that. Please, Nnamdi Kanu sentence be appealed. Yeah, so the lawyer, I can't call him the lawyer, but he was formerly the lawyer on the case. But most likely, he did mention that they're actually planning to appeal the case. Now they've taken him to Sokoto. I don't know why they took him to Sokoto, but most likely there would be an appeal. Maybe they are working on doing that. We would know by next week, Monday. I guess they're going to be using the weekend to draft a good appeal on that case. I think there should be an appeal, and I'll be interested to see that happen. Hopefully, they also on Nnamdi Kanu, I wish and I hope that Nnamdi Kanu allows the lawyers to take up the case and leave them to do their jobs, because again, it gets very, very kind of sensitive at the edge. And it kind of dicey also at the edge. So yeah, there should be, and yeah, there should. I think the solution will be more of a political solution. I think it will be more of a political solution. I saw that Bianca Ojukwu already spoke, and that's what's going to happen. Thanks for the follow, and yeah, that's that about that. Yeah, a lot of other news that I've penned for possibly sometimes tomorrow or later today. Depending on your time zone. But at this point, I just have to call it a day. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the subscription. Yeah, he's a very angry guy. I mean, that guy. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you've not subscribed, please, I'm still trying to grow this channel. One of the reasons I want this to grow also is, you know, 2027 is another election period in Nigeria. I'm just building a community here. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys for holding out and